Yes. Here we go. Oh, hit that like. Let's get started. Let's try this one. I feel like it's a little better after the day I've had.
Robots in the kitchen, see them eyeing me. Toasters on a mission, what's their strategy? Microwave is glaring, fridge begins to hum. Out for domination, oh man, here they come. But I just wanna dance, ooh yeah. Take a chance, let's go. The machines, they advance, oh no. All I want is romance.
I can't tell if the sad thing about that, besides the dancing, is that I'm off tempo. I know, because there's a delay between what I hear in my headphones, and it ruins sort of the fun of the dancing part of it. I mean, at some point I'm going to need like giant speakers and a muted microphone that I can just kind of do it, and then when I flip over to talk, I need a major technological upgrade. Hit that like, share the show, patreon.com/HalSparks. We need a big overhaul. After being at CES today, goddamn. And I haven't even been to the creators wing that's at Aria. It's not even at the convention center. It's over at Aria, and it's where all the digital creators and all the technology that's supposed to make their life easier, as if. And so hopefully I will get to see some of that tomorrow when I go over there. And if I'm lucky, no one will see me leaving with some of it under my jacket. Did they have the Tello truck? They did. I didn't film it. They have a bunch of cool stuff there. It's pretty sweet. I will say, I stand by what I said. For those of you that didn't join the earlier live stream, it's posted so you can go look at it. When I was walking around, I still don't understand why all Chinese robots look like a Power Ranger. It makes no sense. Honest to God, it is the dumbest marketing decision they could possibly make. I'm not gonna. I don't want. What the? How in the? What are you doing? This is ridiculous. Hi, Deborah. Where are you guys from? Where are you from? What do you do for a living? Hit the like and subscribe. Thank you very much. Just subscribe. Anyways, Lexington, Kentucky. All right. One of these days I'll get back to comedy off Broadway. Do I upport ice? I do not upport ice. I don't even know. I wouldn't even downport it in that regard. Again, I got to tell you, all these people attacking the tools as if it's not who runs the goddamn thing. The number of people who are crying about what ICE is doing right now, who didn't vote last time or talked shit about Harris and Biden to try and get other people not to vote or to vote for Trump, who are now like outraged at how ICE is acting. Like where the you guys don't actually think we're going to give you a pass, do you? You think that was accident? Because I'm going to assume the best in you. I'm going to assume the best in you. I'm going to assume that you're not stupid, you're evil. Because nobody could listen to what Trump was saying and go, you know what, this will be better, I think, ultimately. In a coin flip, it's a lesser of two evils, right? So yeah, there you go. Yeah, I just murdered a woman. Yeah, I saw the shooting. Yes, it's let's see. I don't know if I can bring up I don't even know if I want to, because that's the problem with like video that's online. Let's see, ICE shooting. Let's see. Yeah, this is like Trump's shit is just fucking crazy. Yeah, and again, she's shot as she's moving the car. And initially, I believe she's one of the cars that like kind of pushes her way through, but it's hard to tell. Like, the video, yeah, because she's blocking the road, and other cars are going around her, and yada yada yada. Like, yeah, yeah. This is the woman, by the way. This is Renee Good. She's the woman who was shot and killed. And we'll see how this plays out. Like a car is a deadly weapon. Like it's just stupid. The fact that they were there, the fact that she was that you can like, I don't know what people are thinking in these kind of situations. If they ask you to get out of your car, especially if you're obstructing, if you're doing, any kind of, yeah, if you'll see right here, hold on one second. This is the footage. I'm not gonna show all of it, obviously, but she comes over. There is a police officer right there. See right here. See this person right here. That person is in front of her car. That person is also, I believe, aiming a gun at her and telling her not to move. Once she drives forward, that's when the shot happens. This will be viewed as a clean shoot. She was not turning to pull her car out of the way. Like she had jutted backwards when the guy was holding onto the door. Like again, should they be there in the first place? No. Does it matter who was there? Yes. But no, he's not off to the side. You're thinking of this guy. This is not the person who primarily shot. You're going to watch this again. There is a cop that is blocked right here. There's a cop right here on the other side of the vehicle, okay? Walking around the front of the vehicle. Watch this right here. See that person? See, there they are. You can see them right there. That person is in front of her vehicle. They pull their gun out because she pulled the car back. He draws his weapon. She lurches the car that way. That's when the shot happens. It doesn't matter if ICE isn't law enforcement. They have badges and they have the right. I'm not wrong about this legally. I'm not saying it's morally right. I'm not saying the situation went the best way it was supposed to go or any of that shit. But I'm telling you, if you're waiting for like murder charges for any of these officers, that's not going to happen. It's just a reality. This isn't a moral judgment. I'm telling you how this is going to go down. I'm not defending it. I'm literally not. I'm literally not defending this. I am telling you how this is going to go down. He was already in front of the car. I'll show it to you again. Look, don't make a terrible situation about some sort of like do-over because it's a limb problem. The problem isn't this anecdotal shooting that happens as part of the awful that Trump is putting across the country. It is the entire fucking policy. That is an officer in front of the car. That is an officer that has just crossed in front of the car from the other side. Watch. See that? She pulls back. She does not stop her car. The cop is telling her not to move, and she pulls like that. Did he have to fire in and shoot her? No. But again, this will be a justifiable shooting. It doesn't matter if her tire was turning. He was right there in front of the car that way. Like, again, trying to even bump the officer with your car is... I'm not defending this. I'm trying to explain to you guys how this went down. She was probably scared. I completely agree. It is the administration. 3 shots is not overkilling a car. They're going to... The number of shots is immaterial in a circumstance like this. I'm telling you, in every police interaction situation, they will fire until the threat is ended. He was an LA officer that failed to follow protocol. Maybe so, but he was in front of the vehicle when she started moving. Look, again, I'm not even defending the morals of them being in Minnesota. Yeah. The cop tells her to get out of the car. He grabs at the door. She pulls her car back and starts moving it forward. It's that fast. That's with people around. It's a car is a deadly weapon. And again, if she was afraid and stuff, I completely get it. I'm just telling you how this is going to go down. I'm talking like a Chicago cop. I'm talking like any judge who will address this situation. Period. Her car is in reverse while the guy's arm is in the car. He has no right to be in front of her car. Yes, he does. She's obstructing traffic. She's parallel to traffic. He has every right to say, get out of the car. It doesn't matter that ICE aren't police officers. They qualify as law enforcement. I'm telling you, this is how it's going to go down. It's a terrible situation. It should have never occurred. They will not be charged with a crime in this case. I don't know if you guys just want me to tell you a lie just because it's wrong and therefore something will happen. Yes, I agree. Trump killed her. He is responsible for the entirety of that circumstance. None of those people had to be in that situation, but for Donald Trump. That's what I'm saying. This is on Trump's list of dead. The idea that any of this would have happened if Harris was in office is fucking ridiculous. It would not have. Did I offend Ashley Babbitt? No. He killed Ashley too on No. Ashley Babbitt punched another guy so she could be first through the breach when she knew there was an armed guard protecting people on the other side with his gun drawn. I'm telling you how this is going to go down. Yes, no charges will be filed. They might file charges, but it'll just be for show. It won't result in this. I'm telling you. You feel unsafe after having seen this? And you tried to open my door, I'd likely try to drive away. No, you wouldn't. If they were trying to if it's a police officer and they've got a badge and all that kind of stuff, and they've approached you saying that, and you're in public like that, get out of the car, get arrested, and and stand up for what you believe in. If you're blocking, then you can go to jail for that and you'll be out in an hour. Yes, and a completely avoidable tragedy, Eric. That is exactly what this is, and this is entirely on Donald Trump. Hell no jury will see it your way. Try again. Many already have. Do we need to relitigate, Kyle Rittenhouse? This happens, this kind of stuff? Yeah. Again, you do realize that I can recognize that something is morally wrong, but also point out the details that will make it so that that moral wrong will never be righted so long as Donald Trump is in office. Yes, it was 100% avoidable, Mary. In that, if Donald Trump hadn't been elected, that shit never would have happened. That woman would have never been on that icy street. Those officers wouldn't have been on that particular beat in that particular city. The entirety of that circumstance would have never come together if Harris had been elected. That's what I'm focused on. If we want, if people want to litigate a traffic stop gone wrong that ends in a shooting, there's hundreds of them. There's body cams on everybody. But you and I can't do shit about that. We certainly can't now. What we can do is make sure that there are Democrats in office and enough of them to impeach this asshole as soon as possible. Because until then, Venezuela should let you guys know that he's completely without any kind of reins. There are no limits on Donald Trump right now. Yes, January 6th doesn't happen without Trump. Stephen Miller's calling the shots. I don't think he's calling the shots. I think he's suggesting a lot of awful, and Trump is agreeing with him. You're surprised this is first time this has happened to a citizen? Well, sadly, I don't think it'll be the last. And I blame everybody who shot around this lesser of two evils bullshit between Trump and Harris and was calling Joe Genocide Joe and all that kind of shit and didn't vote. Now, am I mad and disgusted at maggots? Yeah, but we're not going to reach them. As Hillary Clinton said, they're in the basket of deplorables. We're not going to salvage those assholes. I can't reach them through shame or coercion or fucking charm. I can vote shame my own side who didn't show up in that last election, and that led directly to this woman being dead in this shooting today. Do you understand? Does that make sense to everybody? If Trump is impeached, will that nullify all actions, including his pardons? No. The pardons will still stand. His executive orders will stand only if Vance is in there and can continue them, but there will be no more from him. I voted for Harris too. Voted for Biden and voted for Clinton. My conscience is clear. But there's a shit ton of people on our side of the aisle who sat the fuck out last time. Because brown woman. And that's what led to this. People can nitpick the details or whether or not ICE or law enforcement or whether they had the right to be there in the first place when there's just standard traffic laws being, and they can ask you to get out of your car. All the law stands on their side, but it's who sent them the fuck there. Do you understand? Because interestingly, like Venezuela, Trump is using the AUMF and redefining cartels as terrorist organizations so that he can attack them as terrorist organizations. Because that puts the law on his side. It gives him all the legal room that he needs to do all this fucking awful. So whose responsibility is it when he does this shit? It's ours. It is our responsibility. We gave up that responsibility in the last election. We allowed this motherfucker to get back in, and that's what led to this. There are more Democrats than there are Republicans. We didn't motivate people. We didn't get them out to the polls. This is on us. Her death is our fucking fault, okay? It's not the cop that thought they were going to get run over because they're sent to do this shit detail in the snow by Donald Trump, who lives in a fucking Dirty Harry film in his head. The responsibility lies with the person who could and would change it, not the people who would do it in the first fucking place. This is our fucking fault. What are we going to do about it? We're going to elect every fucking Democrat by hook or by crook that we possibly can in every office going forward. Period. End of story. Yeah, his gun was pulled before she started driving off. He told her to stop the vehicle and not move. She had already tried to use deathly force. That's okay. I'm not going to argue the fucking details of this. This is how it's going to play out in court. I'm telling you. You want to stop these kind of things from happening in the future? Vote. Take someone to the polls. Make sure that everybody you know has proper ID, because if they try to limit your right to vote in the next election, in the midterms, that they have the ability to. That's the only thing that's going to fucking solve this. Because we relied on the legal standards for certain circumstances, and there are too many outs that the Supreme Court has given Donald Trump, and the Congress, in fact, has given the president in terms of the AUMF. We rely on more than we even know, and maybe till now, on the goodwill and the good nature of our presidents, even as bad as they are. You're horrified, but you're not responsible for this? We all are. Myself included. I guess there's something more I could have done. Yes. Blue wave's the only way that is going to solve this. And again, I'm not blaming you, even though I'm speaking hyperbolically right now. I'm not blaming you for this actually happening. What I'm saying is we have a responsibility to end it. We have a responsibility to change things. Because we can. Can't change the mind of people who won't listen. I'm not talking to them. I'm talking to the people who allegedly are on our side, the ones who voted for Biden, the ones who voted for Obama. The large mass of people who did that, who either stayed home or voted for Trump last time. This only happened because Trump got elected. These two people were never going to meet. You are able to respond. You have responsibility. That's why I've been pushing. I'm not pushing for a social movement here. And that's why, even arguing the details after I've shown you the mechanical facts of that case aren't about what I'm talking about here. That's social interaction. You want me to make you feel either right or supported in your judgment about that circumstance. That's a social movement. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in the politics of it. Electing people who will use the tools at their that are made available to them by the voters for good and not evil. Bob, I appreciate what you're coming at. ICE isn't going to be ended. We're going to have immigration enforcement. We're going to have customs enforcement. Therefore, we're going to have immigration and customs enforcement. If it's not one organization and they break it up into two, the immigrations enforcement guys are the ones that are actually the ones doing all this shit. The customs enforcement guys are pulling over fucking trucks full of contraband or working at the goddamn docks. So, does anybody except Cenk Uygur think that that Kamala Harris would have okayed Nazi tattoos in the military. I rest my case. It was not a nice tree. It was like, okay, again, immaterial to the circumstance. This never had to happen. Right, that's what I'm saying. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, the enforcement arm of this. Customs and Border Patrol is different. Those are again, there's a lot of overlap. I would argue that what you're talking about really here is immigration enforcement. I think they call it C because they had that C in there because they have the right to look for contraband carried by immigrants and illegal or not. And it gives them the legal jurisdiction to check people's trunks and stuff like that. Yeah, agreed. So is again, ICE is law enforcement as well. It's just a specific purview, but if they witness a murder or a crime, or they have all the purview. Just look up their rights as members of any like IRS agents that carry guns can fucking. You can do a citizen's arrest. Like, come on. Yes, people are venting, and that's okay. That part I'm all right with. I just don't want you to feel like there's some sort of cut and dry that other people, are refusing to see. That's not what it is. So, by the way, one of the reasons they act like this, hit the like, share the show, etc., 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 is because this is how they think. Mike Cernovich was on Tucker Carlson show, and he was talking about Charlie Kirk's death, and he said, they're hunting us for sport. Do you know how fucking deluded you have to be? What's the other, besides Charlie Kirk being murdered specifically for who he was and what he believed, in theory, allegedly, who the fuck is hunting Cernovich and Tucker fucking Carlson? Who gives a shit? Jesus Christ, the person that allegedly shot at Tim Pool's place, if that ever fucking happened, by the way, was allegedly either enamored of or sent by Candace Owens. So what who's they? All right, here we go. This is the they. The they is back with a vengeance.
I remember Posobiec calls. He's like, dude, they killed Charlie. Everybody thought they would just kill somebody else first. But everybody knew they were going to kill somebody.
Jesus Christ. Really? They did?
Everybody knew it. This is how we live our life. Like,
first of all, what about the politicians in Minneapolis? You think political violence is all about you, dum-dum?
I live my life knowing I could be killed any day.
Yeah.
I live my life under Biden.
Jesus Christ, like the ego.
Well,
I'm basically a hero just for going to the grocery store because I'm a wanted man. Wanted! Because at any given time, some furry could walk up and pop me because I'm madder. And who couldn't spot? Is that Cernovich? Yeah, that's Mike Cernovich. Who couldn't spot him immediately?
I could any day, any day, something could happen.
Yes, a car could jump a fucking curb. The odds are higher.
I know every day that I wake up just to a shit show of false. It just doesn't matter. That's the way that you live.
False? False? It doesn't matter. Oh, you mean like the Epstein files?
And as like fucked up as it is, and the reason our people I think don't talk about it is you have a certain nobility, a stiff upper lip. You don't want to sound like a victim, but
you're not.
That's exactly right.
That's exactly right. I'm so a victim. I don't want to sound like a victim, even though we both know.
I like wood.
It's not like it's like it's a weird it's like enraging in a way. Like, no, this is not how it's supposed to be in America.
It isn't that way, fuckhead. You paranoid dick. Nobody cares.
Where you know that any given day, like you might be taken away from your children.
By who? Who gives a shit about Mike Cernovich? Honest to fucking God. I got active death threats. The FBI was involved during Queer as Folk at publicity events that I had to be at contractually. And I didn't whine as much of this. I just dealt with it. Fucking wah.
Because of politics and because of how rotten and corrupt everything is.
No, I don't think it's, sorry. It sounds like rotten and corrupt everything is. It sounds like the drain the swamp maggots blame you for Trump being all swampy. It's honest to God. It sounds like you're worried about not being killed by some left-wing furry, but by some right-wing maggot. Some dick with all the at-gat MAGA hat.
I couldn't agree more.
Because that's the nature of the of the show.
They say I live a life exactly like the one you described.
Yes, you totally. He can't even go to a truck stop men's room without getting odd scratches on his sides and his shoulder. And look, could happen to anyone. It's fine. It's fine. If Tucker is.
On the other hand, I think it's essential to cling to your nobility and refuse.
It is. And thank you for clinging to your nobility. Like it's I don't know, how would I put it? Like a piece of I
like wood.
Yeah, a piece of wood. Sure. Yeah.
Deeper and longer.
Well, that's a weird way to cling to something, but sure.
Refuse to become a victim and refuse to act like Seth Dillon or whoever, like constantly talking about, oh, the threats against me, people are mean to me. Come on. You chose to be in this.
Yeah, come on. Be macho. Come on. Stop being such a puss wuss. You know what I mean? You big fucking puss wuss. What's wrong with you? Toughen up like Tucker, who obviously, looks like a feather duster fucked a store mannequin at Target, I guess.
It's just man up.
He did, but he shouldn't
Yeah, just fucking man up.
have to.
No, I agree. No one should threaten Seth Dillon. I'm totally opposed to threatening him or anyone else. Just saying, like, talking about yourself is disgusting.
That's our problem, though. See, that's the.
Yeah, I get it. That is your problem. You're all whiny, paranoid weaklings. Yeah, you're wuss pusses, clearly.
That's how they got us in this catch-22.
It's true.
Which is,
is it just me, or does both of their voices very much explain why they spend most of their time tweeting?
On Twitter, no one can hear your weaselly little voice.
well, nobody can complain because we're, manly men and we're stoic.
wasps.
We take it
We're
on
not
the
gonna-
chin.
yeah.
We don't complain.
We're wasps. White Anglo-Saxon Protestants don't fucking whine.
But then they get
We also don't wear loafers with no socks either, you.
away with everything, and people go, wait a minute, you had to say, like, I think that most people, if you told them, oh yeah, like I remember when Douglas Mackey got wrongfully arrested and charged for a crime he didn't commit, and it's been proven now he didn't commit the crime, that I remember sitting out with my kids and I go, hey kids, I just, want to let you know, talk to my wife, hey, like, here's your money, here's where the money is, it's all in like your name. I don't have anything. And tell my kids, hey kids, like they might
Dad, this is a Wendy's.
take daddy away, like the bad guys might come and get daddy, and it'll be okay.
Oh my God. Yeah, the Biden administration was going to fucking round you up exactly like Trump is threatening to do with other journalists. Well, I'm sorry. You were never threatened with anything but the normal legal process if you deserved it at all. Holy shit. Meanwhile, Trump is basically saying that, reporters are committing treason, which is punishable by death.
And everything. Dude, that if we don't talk about it, then nobody knows.
Right.
Right?
These assholes think that like these white Republican maggot dads have to have a conversation with their kids like black parents have to have with their sons. That's what he thinks. He's like, his parents, he's like, look, if you encounter the Biden administration, I want you to put both your hands on the wheel. Don't reach for anything.
So, but we're like, well, I don't want to fucking cry. I'm a real man. I'm a da-da-da-da-da. It's like, great. And then nobody knows.
No real man would say, I'm a real man, da-da-da-da-da. I'm just saying. I actually, specifically, I say it, like, I go, I'm a real man, which, you know, and I don't even actually say it. Part of my body makes that noise. Simmer.
And then people get like, wait a minute, John Eastman, a distinguished law professor, wrote a memo that wasn't even acted on. He just lost his life, lost his position at Chapman, his standing in the world, even his law license, his ability to like earn a living. This is like,
By the way, he's still alive. He didn't lose his life.
this is what is happening. So
Yeah, but he takes an oath as an officer of the court, and he violated that.
we do need to bitch more. To be honest, that's our
Yeah, that's what I've been missing. Whining helps.
problem. That's the exploit. And whatever our DNA is, or whatever our operating software is, or whatever our genetics is, that's our exploit. Is we just you just take the hits. You take the hits, you endure the weight of life.
Yeah, dad doesn't complain.
That's what you do. And then
Well, apparently, except on a podcast.
and then they take our country, and then they fuck us up like one by one. So I remember like some guy.
Good God, who? Have you ever seen a more shrimp dick display in your entire life? Good Lord.
Showed up to Fuentes' place to kill him, and then ended up killing somebody else down the street. Shows up, people are like, well, they didn't even know. It was like, because you're not supposed to talk about it. Like,
And Fuentes, his credit, I mean, I gave him a chance to talk about it and whatever you
Right.
think of Fuentes, but he did not marinate in his victimhood at all.
yeah, some loony goes up to
Yeah, it's weird that this little pipsqueak in Chicago is twice the man both of you are put together.
Cat Turd's house, tries to get him. They go after Benny Johnson. They go after Seth Dillon. Candace Owens has had threats. Charlie Kirk gets killed. So I think it's
Multiple Democratic lawmakers have been murdered in one city alone. There are constant death threats. Literally, Obama had more death threats than any other president in history.
there's a way to talk about these, and that's why. So the Charlie Kirk thing really was a frustrating thing for me because, well, I mean, it was a tragic thing, you know, like frustrating. It sounds so like shallow.
Yes, it does.
I just thought that people would realize they're hunting us for sport.
Oh my God. No, nobody cares, dude. Who's they and who are you? What us are you fucking talking about? You do not have any of these problems. And half of the threats that your side of the aisle is getting, the real ones come from your own side.
All of us. Tucker, they're hunting you. If they could get Shapiro, they would get Shapiro. If they could get Walsh, they could get Walsh. If they could get Candace, they could get Candace. And it ain't the Israelis and it ain't the Jews that are doing it. It's the violent, feral, terrorist, Bolshevik left. And they would get all of us if they could. So whatever acrimony we have, which is like, I'm not a unity guy. I'm a guy who likes the mix, maybe too much.
Yeah, diversity is, if Cernovich has a strength, and that is who this is, right? It's diversity.
But it's like, dude, they're going to kill us. They're going to kill all of us. And we need to figure out some kind of way to coexist with one another, understanding that the threat against us is existential, and they would, the left, if they could kill Seth Dillon, they'd be glad to kill him. If they could kill you, they'd be glad to kill you. To them, that's just another notch on their belt or a point on
Jesus Christ. Does this guy know who has all the guns by and large?
the scoreboard.
So
Yeah, you know, that like that big lefty Timothy McVeigh.
And what's the administration doing about this?
That
Nothing, because it's in fucking Mike Cernovich's fucking dome.
I mean, that was my problem with Trump's first term.
That was it. Wasn't the like letting everybody die from COVID and saying it would dry up like snot on a fucking banister in the sun, or suggesting people stick a light bulb up their ass and drink bleach.
The political violence against Trump supporter, because again, we're just supposed to deal with it. Just deal with it.
Yeah, it's just asking you to be too tough.
Was almost completely ignored during his first term.
Is it still being ignored?
Under my definition, it is. Yeah, they're arresting some people. There's more happening than the first term, but the response is not what I would like to see.
So
Sorry, what would you like to see? The rounding up of your political opponents based on the idea that you feel paranoid? Awesome.
claim when Charlie was murdered was that this was Antifa or some Antifa adjacent person or organization. I don't know if that's true. I don't know anything about it.
That's not okay. That's a fucking lie. Of course you know something about it, dumb fuck. You know someone's been arrested for it. You know a trial is going forward. You know they are having evidentiary hearings. You know the guy's in jail without bail during the trial. That sounds like something.
I think it's absolutely true.
I don't know that, but I don't have any other theories. I don't even understand the story.
Jesus Christ. How is this level of ignorance something to brag about? And by the way, I think the only way you could say that is that what he means is, I don't believe the official story, but my friends run the fucking joint. Kash Patel, Trump, Bondi, and therefore I can't criticize them, and I'm too much of a coward to stand up to the like fuckos in my audience who think it was the French intelligence and our own military and whatever the fuck they believe this week. It's hard to even keep fucking track. So if you're too much of a coward to admit what you actually believe, what his baseline fallback is, I don't know. Does anybody know anything really?
But if people said it was true, so like, okay, where
it is indeed sophistry. Yes.
Where's the roundup of Antifa?
So they're
Sorry, you got a dog sneezing right there.
That's good. The good puppy. So I think it was Tyler Robinson. I think a 22-year-old man on a mission is a very dangerous thing, and that I think that there were other people in those.
Imagine if he was up there though and he didn't have access to a gun. What if he was just lying up there on that rooftop with a letter opener or a fucking pellet gun or a straw with a piece of paper in it?
Discord servers, and there were people tweeting something big is going to happen tomorrow, and after tomorrow, Charlie won't be around anymore. So I'm very frustrated that there doesn't seem to be much interest in. Maybe those people were just.
Hey asshole, I'll play along for a second. Let me play along for a second. We'll just do a little. I'm not going to go into the deep end, but say a mid-pool dive for this dickhead. Let me put this together. Apparently, you were saying that Trump is doing a little bit more than the last term, but not much, to protect people on the right. That he's doing very little to make you feel better about your personal safety. That people on your side are getting threats all the time, and Trump is sort of actively ignoring it by and large. Yes? Okay. And then Charlie gets killed by one of the very people that you believe was behind it. And it seems to line up fairly with your particular worry. And his response was, fuck it. Erica's got it. We'll just move on. As long as the money keeps rolling in, I don't give a shit. So maybe, just maybe, he's cleaning house. Maybe you guys are just too old for the fucking gig anymore, and he needs a new group of people, and his way of, moving out the geriatrics in his media sphere is not letting them retire naturally, but dusting them off. I'm just saying, because you're the one who thinks that no one's doing anything during the fucking Trump administration, that they are lying to you actively.
Guessing, or maybe they were trolling, but there doesn't seem to be much interest in finding out who.
Yeah, it's weird. It's almost like they don't care, and they're hoping for more of it, right?
Who those other people
Why do
were.
you think?
That's
I don't, Your Honor, objection. References facts, not an evidence. The idea that this guy thinks is an open question, Your Honor.
It doesn't make any sense to me.
I
Makes total sense if Trump actually wants you guys to die, and he's, I don't know, maybe he's a communist. Maybe he's just a total lefty, and he's a Manchurian candidate. And he's just found his way in there, and he's going to install a socialist government in the United States and a new one in Venezuela that lives up to what Chavez wanted. I'm just fucking with you. I don't think any of that.
I always go back to the Garland, Texas mass shooting, which is, to me, this is like the skeleton key of it all. So Pamela Geller, who's very much pro-Israel, about as hardcore as you can be on the issue, did a Draw Muhammad contest. And there was going to be a bunch of other people also like very pro-Israel. And a jihadi was going to shoot the place up. It was Texas, and he got taken out, but by an accident of fate, a local law enforcement officer pulled over an FBI agent who was fleeing the scene, got the guy's phone, and the text message to the jihadi said, "Tear up Texas." Sounds unbelievable. It's 100% true. Senator Grassley has asked for information twice.
Every time I ask for information, I get the runaround. Not to be confused with the reach around, which is what Matt Gaetz gave me every time I tried to put him in front of an ethics committee.
From Ray and Garland has been stonewalled. I don't know why Kash Patel won't release it.
It's interesting. Sounds very swampy. Kash Patel in particular. Wasn't he going to shut down all the FBI headquarters entirely? He was going to put his fucking the entire everybody in the FBI out of a job.
I've asked everybody up as high up the food chain as you can get why we can't get it.
And what's the answer?
My belief is that MK Ultra never ended. COINTELPRO. MK Ultra was, of course, the mind control experiments they conduct on people where.
No, it wasn't. That never actually happened. I don't believe it for one fucking second. What? What'd I miss?
The book Chaos covered this in great detail for people who are curious about that.
About the Charles Manson murders.
The Manson murders, and then there was that Air Force guy who was drugged up and killed somebody, and that didn't even make sense, and I didn't even know about that. Well, that book was completely mind-blowing.
Literally.
And
see what he did there?
I do think they still have whatever arm of that is, whether that's within the FBI or some other.
No, that was I think a CIA and then folded into the now the Department of War. Hey, but maggots are against this. They would have shut it down immediately. Trump's not going to allow that to go forward, especially to, I don't know, mind fuck all of his followers after, I guess assigning someone to kill Charlie Kirk, whatever the fuck.
Site within the intelligence community, I'm certain that still exists. So because of that, you're not going to get any information about that, because I do think there would be some kind of dark op. Because what a lot of people, again, it's just the title of the book.
Yeah, it would be ridiculous to assume heroism amongst any maggots. Kash Patel's not going to endanger his sweet life with the girlfriend he barely has to see except in public and the guy he lives with here in Vegas.
Shows the agenda. It's just chaos. Get everybody afraid. Get everybody panicked. Usher in more surveillance technology. Usher in a surveillance state.
Oh, you mean like Trump and Palantir or whatever. Interestingly enough, the Biden administration didn't partner with these, and it's curious that for all the rigged election stuff, the last election reeked of that kind of stuff, and specifically Palantir and all these corporations suddenly get there's like a revolving door in the fucking White House. The oil companies now own Venezuela, except we're going to run it for them like a fucking apartment manager.
Bring in a narco-tyranny where if you're law-abiding, everything you do is monitored by Flock and all these traffic cameras. Everything you do is monitored, but if you're a drug addict on the street, you have free reign to do anything you want.
Well, I mean, it's hard to check your records when you don't have any.
This was the Bolshevik method, there was
Yes, I remember when the Bolsheviks used, they had a camera on every street corner.
Solzhenitsyn quote, Alexander Solzhenitsyn quote, where it went, I don't have the exact quote, but the substance of it was, your punishment for having a knife was different for the thieves. When you had a knife, it was terrorism. When the thief had it, it was just his way of life. And that's what we're living under now with the modern anarcho-tyranny.
Hold on. Wait, there's an ad for potato chips that follow this. They're trying to kill us. In between bouts of Vandy potato chips. They're just so tasty and crispy. Woman and child carrying these things. I don't eat these fucking things. You're not allowed to notice this. This is evil. I know. Every time I try to notice something evil, they're like, psst, over here. This is, I guess if you're maggots, you got to eat up podcast time talking about something, because you sure as fuck can't talk about the Epstein files. And you certainly can't dive too deep into the Maduro stuff, because it sounds exactly like the regime change shit you guys were screaming about. Can I point of privilege, if I may, ladies and gentlemen? You guys know that I was a little too giddy. I almost feel like I should apologize, but I'm not going to, for showing you the oil glut clip. Can I show you another one? That this is kind of our worlds colliding. You know, there's a couple of things, and I've got one from Hank Hill in a little bit. The ZZ Top Hank Hill guy. Hold on just a minute. But, and I think, by the way, that they screw up CSL. I think they fucked up their thumbnails on this, because it's the wrong ones. This is the wrong guy. I think this is Brandon Assetto, but this is a clip that features Jeff Snyder. Now, Jeff Snyder, I kind of like. Like, Jeff Snyder's, you know, an economist, and he was one of these people who used to have this kind of like weird, you know, state of the dollar kind of thing, and it was amongst a bunch of these that I would sort of pick up on, right? And this is Peanut Butter Dickhead, of course, talking about Trump, and this clip is called "Prices Will Never Go Down. Trump's affordability promise collides with cost of living nightmare." And I got, oh boy. I'm going to tell you, this is some good stuff. They bring up a couple of things. They bring up, I'm going to let them see if you guys can see. Longtime viewers will know when we stumble across one of the key phrases that I've been bringing up. And it's really funny when one of the phrases that I keep telling people about that is meaningful to the conversation and actually the reality, the facts of the matter that we live in right now in actuality, the kind of facts that will fuck your feelings. That those in particular, like when those pop up or whatever, it's lovely when people like this see them for the first time or are confronted by them for the first time. So here we go with the prices will never go down.
White House laser focused on affordability as
Oh, yes. Nothing says laser focused on something like calling it a hoax.
Trump softens tariff strategy. Okay, so there's two stories like, well, you know, affordability is just a Democrat hoax. It's not a real thing. No one's really dealing with that. It's just a bunch of BS. But behind closed doors, apparently, guys, we got to get this affordability thing.
So what he's saying right there, if I can speak bullshitter, what he's saying is that outwardly they're saying it's just a Democratic hoax. But every time they get together in the White House, they're like, holy shit, we're fucked up on this affordability thing.
Scored away as we're going through this.
Squared away, but anyways.
Next phase. So the Trump administration is ramping down tariffs for even more goods as the White House zeroes in on its messaging around affordability.
Ramping down. Oh, that one I didn't notice. That's new. Is ramping down tariffs.
The White House announces Wednesday that tariffs slated to kick in Thursday as furniture, kitchen cabinet.
By the way, it would be ramping up and winding down.
And vanities would be postponed for another year This indicates that on some level, the White House understands that President Trump's tariffs are driving up consumer prices and that Trump and the Republican Party are incurring substantial political damage from higher prices. Michael Strain said the White House slapped a 25% tariff on furniture, kitchen cabinets, and vanities in October. Tariffs on furniture were slated to increase to 30% in January, and tariffs on the cabinets and vanities were set to increase to 50%. But they're trying to figure out something going on here with affordability. Tom, your thoughts on the story?
Well, first of all, we were correct.
First of all,
We talked about this, and we said that the tariffs, and we said at the beginning of the year,
I said this at the beginning of the year.
they would be tactics, not
They would be bullshit.
taxes.
They would not actually stay. We would just use them to scare people, but then they wouldn't stay in there.
And guess what? All the economists come out and so surprised. Oh, wow, well, it really hasn't gone up. Hasn't been as inflationary
Because he carved every fucking thing out.
as we thought. Even the Fed, Jerome Powell, the short timer who's about to lose his job.
He's not a short timer. He's about to end his term as the Fed chairman. He ran the distance, dummy. We're not doing this in Scaramucci's, asshole. He's not Dan Bongholio.
Has said that. And what's happening this week is the president is talking more about affordability to kind of take the messaging back from the Democrats who keep saying, oh, it's inflationary. If you look at one of the things that was happening this week, it was a bunch of pre-made construction stuff. These are things that, average Americans buy every week, not vanities, kitchen cabinets, higher end furniture. Come on. Those aren't the things that people are buying every week. And that's not what tariffs.
Yeah, those are stacked on top of everything else in his fucking blanket tariffs because they don't know what comes. He just cut fucking pasta from Italy to almost nothing because that's what we get from there. And we're not selling fucking pasta to Italy. It's not happening. It's not gonna fucking happen.
Aren't going to cause inflationary. As a matter of fact, he moved on some agricultural tariffs that were in Italy, and it took the tariffs down to 1.2% on certain Italian pastas.
Yes, from the pasta tree, agricultural goods. Nothing. Yes, every fuck me. Yeah, agricultural goods. Do pastas grow on a bush or a tree? They hang down and you cut them off, or
So the pastas that are coming in, it was less than 1/7 of our sales tax. So what's happening right now? Point one, the president hears these messages Democrats are trying to push on affordability.
they're not pushing it on affordability. This is coming. You think he gives a fuck what Democrats say? This is because people are going to the goddamn grocery store and he's hearing the word groceries all the time.
So now he's fighting back saying, hey,
Oh my God. Pasta synthesis? Is that what does it?
it wasn't inflationary in the first place. And I'll tell you what, let me suspend this tariff over here, this tariff here that was on.
Yeah, that's why it's not inflationary by and large in like regular consumer goods. That's a whole other fucking problem he has no control over.
Kitchen vanities, cabinets, and things that you would use for remodels. And Americans aren't really doing that right now, right? There's not a lot of remodeling going on.
Gee, maybe it's because the price of kitchen vanities and shit like that is up 50 fucking % this year for no goddamn reason.
You see the quarterly reports from Home Depot and Lowe's, but energy is down, heating oil is down for the winter, and also
Yes, you can burn your old vanity for heat.
he just did like what he did on the imported Italian pasta, make it like a 1% tariff coming over there. So he's getting.
God, this is fucking lame. Polish that turd, buddy. Do it. Just promise me after you're done you'll clean your fingernails.
The joke that he can't just say to the microphone, oh, affordability is a headline issue that's being spun by the Democrats. No, there's some reality to it because the prices haven't come back down from Biden inflation.
Because they're not going to. Jesus Christ.
Just follow the money.
Oh my God.
And so now the White House and the president are out there speaking to it to counter the message of the
Speaking to it. You mean add it?
Democrats. And yes, certain things like Italian pastas came down a little bit.
Jeff, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, this is not a messaging thing.
That's Jeff Snyder, by the way. That's the guy I was telling you about, who's like right out of central casting for like a nerd economist. He literally looks like somebody cosplaying as the lead actor in Revenge of the Nerds most of the time.
The fact that they try to treat it as a messaging problem shows that they're still kind of out to lunch.
You're
on
saying
it.
it's a real thing.
It is absolutely a real thing. And the original
Here it comes.
problem here that Republicans had specifically is they came in, last year or the year before. Sorry, it's 2025 or 2026 now. They came in the year before and said we're going to bring prices down. Well, in economics, prices don't go down. That was a mistake to begin with. When prices went up back in 21 and 22, that was a permanent change. You can't go backwards. Every supply shock in history, prices.
I'm fine. Chat? Did you? Every what in history? Every what? Look, yes, look who just, yeah. Welcome to the party, pal. Let's hear that again, because we're going to hear it a couple of times. And the best part about this is hearing Peanut Butter Dickhead. Apparently, this is fucking news to him. Shocker.
Was a permanent change. You can't go backwards. Every supply shock in history.
Sorry, I'm just going to enjoy that.
He's a genius, eh?
Okay.
Prices go up in a step fashion, and then they level off where they are at a new step fashion, or the new equilibrium, and they stay there. So what Republicans should have said is, you want to blame Biden for that? Fine. Biden made you poorer. Now we're going to try to fix it. Not by getting prices to go down, because they will not go down. They should have been clear on that. Prices will never go down again. We are never going to see 2019 prices again. So what we're going to try to do is our absolute best to make sure the jobs market is as strong and as resilient as matching the rhetoric coming from all these different economists in the Federal Reserve. So that what happens is, what should have happened if we had a strong economy, that you have prices that went up in 21 and 22, or 21 back then, 5 years ago, and then incomes rise to, first of all, meat prices, and then...
Now look at Peanut Butter Dickhead. Very confused that this little piece of information smuggled its way into his weird little fucking men's locker room at a train station that he does his show out of.
Exceed them.
What happens first? What happens first? Income goes... cost of goods goes up first, then income rises? What is the typical pattern?
In this case, because prices were forced higher by government action, it was a non-economic...
Income has to be forced to increase.
Income should naturally go up. If there was a actual recovery from the pandemic and the lockdowns, then incomes would naturally rise over enough time that it would equalize with the prices from 21 and 22, and then exceed them. So that even though, the cost of a car is now $50,000 instead of $30,000,
right,
you have more than enough income to pay for it. And so we all get used to the new higher prices, and it doesn't become a major problem.
But is that happening?
No, that's the problem. What
right, because Trump is full of shit.
really happened was prices went up massively in 21 and 22, and incomes never caught up. This is what people are talking about when they talk about inflation and affordability. It's not about the price of, a dryer or something that's gone up in the last year. It's the price of everything that went up 5 years ago, and incomes never went up enough for people to claw back.
So on whose fault is that too? How do you address it?
First, whose fault is that?
Yeah.
It's the government's fault. They created the pandemic and the lockdowns, and then because of the pandemic...
Under Biden, when they did the pandemic and the
under Biden, when they did the pandemic, whatever the fuck that means, and the lockdowns, whatever the fuck that means, because it happened under Trump.
Can't forget, it was also Trump.
It was the spending was on both sides.
Spending was on both sides. The lockdowns
was on both sides.
Yeah, it was both sides. I mean, you got to blame both sides for this part.
On lockdown?
Sure.
Jesus Christ, where were you in 2020? Holy shit. 14 days to stop the spread?
Sure.
And spending and the printing.
Who locked down on Trump's
2020? 2 weeks to flatten the curve? That was in Trump's watch.
Right, the lockdown. But it wasn't a... You're not talking about...
It wasn't like a real lockdown, like when Biden did it, like everybody was afraid. But when Trump did it, we kind of liked it.
The lockdown that happened under Biden.
No, the repeated emergency pandemic measures. That was absolutely devastating. That's where really the price changes came from.
Right.
Because what happened is you had the economy starting to come back from the
Here we come.
lockdowns. So there's more demand that was rising. But at the same time, the supply side of the economy was hindered by all those emergency measures and
government
logistics.
printed more money.
Not money printing.
I'm fine. I'm all right. Back up 1 second right there. Sorry. What? The phrase was not money printing.
The economy was hindered by all those emergency
So the
measures and
government
logistics.
printed more money.
Not money printing. Not money printing. What happened was it's called a supply shock, which is a...
I'm fine. I just feel like it's so happy. All right.
an imbalance between demand and supply. So you have demand and supply that completely plummeted during the lockdowns. When they came back, demand started to come back, but supply couldn't. It was restrained. People were home. They couldn't work. You know, we couldn't get stuff shipped from overseas. So demand came back faster than supply. And this is basic economics. What happens when demand is growing faster than supply is? The only way to reconcile those is prices have to rise.
Ta-da!
Think about it as an auction process. If you have an auction where a ton of people show up and there's only a couple sellers, the sellers are going to get huge prices for it. So because supply was restricted, that's why it's called supply shock, prices had to rise to meet for the rising demand. Now, what should have happened, what the government said was going to happen, was that we are going to do all these stimulus plans. We're going to give money to people. And what that's going to do is that's going to temporarily stimulate the economy so that the process I talked about, where incomes would start to rise and then slowly over time, they would offset and exceed price changes. But that never happened because stimulus.
Well, also, the government can't stimulate wages. They can give you some temporary money, but once you go back to fucking work, your wage is your wage is your wage. The only way they can do it is by having more active jobs so that people have a choice, and therefore you have to pay bonuses to get workers, which is exactly what they did under Biden, which was hire more people in the government and in other areas where they had control over that. And then when somebody wanted to hire somebody that could do a particular job, they had to offer them a signing bonus and other stuff to raise their wage.
Never really actually stimulate.
How do you address it now?
How do you address it now is we got to get the labor market back working again, which means the economy needs to hit some kind of equilibrium coming off of that, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, where it was artificially stimulated in all the worst ways. Now it has to clear out all the bad stuff, including the stuff we're going to talk about here with fraud. I mean, fraud and government waste was a huge part of stimulating the economy, which is the worst way to try to create a sustainable economic growth pattern. You don't create growth from waste and fraud and inefficiency and unproductivity. So we got to clean all that stuff out and let the economy start growing again. It's like the same reason why you cut back all your weeds in your garden. All the bad growth, you got to get rid of that. That's what
Tom,
a recession's
what do you think
for.
about what he's saying?
So there's a couple things here. First of all, I agree that there was this cataclysmic jump in prices that happened
Under Biden.
Under Biden.
That was caused by his actions and not Trump completely shitting the bed on COVID.
And you can argue whether it started at Trump, but you can
No, you don't have to argue at all. It's a fact.
certainly look at the charts, and it went nuts under Biden. And there's a lot.
It went nuts under Biden because we came out of COVID under Biden. We got back to work after Biden. We got vaccinated and we're able to go back out into society under fucking Biden. If the lockdown had continued the entirety of the Biden administration, all that shit would be hitting the fan right now.
A lot of core products that probably aren't going to be able to come down. Energy is one where the president can help it get down. I mean, look what Biden did. Biden depleted the SPR, Strategic Petroleum Reserve, to artificially drop gasoline prices in the
Which
face.
never happened.
Huh?
They used the SPR and it didn't actually get oil prices to go down.
Correct, but that's what.
It's because that's because they couldn't get it to go down because the entire world was jump starting at that point. It was just to make literally the fuel more available. They weren't even thinking about steadying oil prices at that point. They were just trying to make some sort of manageable cost because the price of oil was jacking up through the fucking roof. It was like 80 to 100. It was approaching $100 a barrel.
He said he was doing.
Yeah.
Instead, it just depleted it. And so
But again, that's all just, it's the mess.
And then he bought it back at cheaper. He sold it at 80 and bought it back at 66. Real quick. For fuck's sake. The president has turned volatility into profit. He has a high-stakes job. War and natural disasters keep him on his toes. He's often on a plane to far-flung places, traveling to negotiate with local leaders. He has the best intelligence money can buy, and as November's election nears, he will spend lots of time looking at lines on charts. The American president and swashbuckling oil traders, it turns out, have a lot in common. Joe Biden, master oil trader, not to be confused with Fred Garvin, male prostitute. How about this one? Let's see. I think you put this on reader. Here's another one. Biden's incredible market success in oil prices. I told the producers I certain in the comments since I had written myself to trade, blah, blah, blah. For those who don't know the story or don't care to watch the clip, gas prices have been raging higher in our post-pandemic recovery. Here on the East Coast, prices went above $5 a gallon. In California, some saw prices briefly touch $10 in one city where it's always like over $7 anyways. Biden traveled to Saudi Arabia to ask OPEC for more supply, was given raspberries instead by Crown Prince Mohammed because they were trying to help Trump get reelected. So Biden came home and hatched a plan to use the Strategic Petroleum Reserve more aggressively than any president ever before, as a seller of last resort to moderate prices at the Trump. Here's some of the facts that couldn't be explored in that MSNBC spot. 1. The idea of using the SPR as a moderating force to prices is not new, but the fast scheduling and amount of oil released by the Biden administration definitely was. 180 million barrels, or about 40% of the total held reserves. The mechanism of using sovereign stockpiles to manipulate consumer prices is also not new. I suggested using this mechanism myself to help augment the transition to renewables in my book, Turning Oil Green. And other democratic countries, particularly in the hotter, arid areas of the Middle East and Africa, have been using sovereign stockpiles of grain, for example, to cage prices for decades. There are a number of factors that helped Biden quash oil prices over the last 2 years as well. Obviously, the continued rise of interest rates by the Federal Reserve targeting inflation broadly was at least as much a factor. Also, the winters of 2022 and 23 were exceedingly mild. Still, the effectiveness of this strategy caught everyone, even me, very much by surprise. I know now that its effectiveness was based in the intimidation it applied to other traders to abandon their own long positions despite the incredible fundamental bullishness of the markets at the time, and even join with the U.S. in selling oil. That's traders for you. They don't care one iota about anything other than making money. Let me tell you as a trader, if the U.S. Treasury is telling you that they're committed to seeing oil prices go lower, then you could bet your ass I'm going to reevaluate my long position no matter how bullish the fundamentals appear to be. It's like watching a game of No Limit Texas Hold'em. Without knowing the cards of each player, you can probably guess which player is going to ultimately win the game. It's the one with the biggest stack of chips. He has the option of forcing every other player to put his life on the line with every hand. Miscalculate once, the other guy is out of the game. That's what it's like. Finally, a lot has been made of the money this trade made for the U.S. government. About 200 million times about $30, equal about $5 to $6 billion. So he made $30 on every barrel of oil. He sold 200 million barrels and made a profit of 30. While that's a fun side fact of the story, it's hardly the main takeaway. $5 billion isn't going to fund much of the U.S. government, although it's a lot if you're running the oil desk of Morgan Stanley, the world's largest oil trader in his early 2000s. The point is, Joe Biden called on an innovative strategy to help lower gas prices for consumers, and at a time of incredible stress, and did it. He also established a precedent to keep oil and gas prices in check for the future, perhaps ensuring that oil prices won't ever get back to $125 a barrel / $5 a gallon, as we'd seen off and on since 2007. He's delivered more stability in the price structure of fossil fuels than the oil and gas markets have seen since both markets were deregulated in 2000. These motherfuckers. Anyways, I would love to sit with them, Tom. I just wanted to show that one for dunking on the supply shock part of it and the fact that Peanut Butter Dickhead still can't wrap his empty fucking dome around it. Speaking of empty fucking domes, our favorite thumb in a suit, Sam Hannity over here, is trying to I don't know, fucking shove some ED medicine down the gullet of this Don Rowe doctrine nonsense. This country is in deep trouble, according to Hannity. Hit the like, by the way, you're watching Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide. Share the show.
Welcome to Hannity. And tonight, unrest on the streets of Iran, Cuba on the brink of collapse. Meanwhile, China, Russia, and Iran, they just lost their biggest ally in the Western Hemisphere. And the air defense systems given to Venezuela by China and Russia, they were no match for the U.S. military. As a result,
they're no match for the Ukrainian military either. It's almost as if they suck.
Nicolas Maduro, oh, look at that. He's now locked up in a New York City jail.
And what the fuck hat is that? Why is he wearing Jughead's crown?
And for those of you that are wondering, apparently Greenland is very much in play. I think President Trump may make them an offer they may not want to refuse. Now, a lot is at stake in the coming days.
Are you fucking stupid? You think Denmark is going to give up a landmass that big with the minerals that are there?
And weeks.
For what? $180 billion? Like, what are you going to pay for it? $180 billion? Is that what that's the market thing that he thinks he's going to buy all that land for? Get the fuck out of here.
Months.
Take whatever you would pay for Alaska right now and triple it. And Denmark will still tell you to go fucking home.
Leader of the Iranian opposition, Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi, will also...
Jesus Christ. Some stuff is really hard to read in a teleprompter. Other things are just hard to read, period, I guess.
Will join us tonight. And Senator Lindsey Graham, Senator Tim Scott, they will be here along with the U.S.
MAGA's favorites. I got to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, can we just give a big round of applause to all the maggots for welcoming back Lindsey Graham, that neocon rhino that they were all bitching about, that they can't stand because he's always he's too supportive of, of Ukraine against Russia, and he's always trying to get us into these ongoing foreign wars and shit like that. And there's some other reason they don't like him. I can't think what it is. There's a reason they don't like him.
I love that feeling. Superhoods have got the goods. Oh. Butts and thongs and vests and thongs. I love that feeling.
All right.
Superhoods have got the goods.
I can't. Somebody will remind me in the chat room why maggots don't like Lindsey Graham. I can't think. I mean, it's something. All I remember is it's not something Democrats would hold against someone. You know what I mean? As long as it's consensual, I think I don't even know that I have to give that caveat, but I'm willing to. It's no skin off my nose.
Ambassador to the UN, Michael Waltz, maybe it's time to say bye-bye to the UN. Now, he will respond to the far-left wannabe diplomats at the UN who are now predictably taking the side of Venezuelans' ex-brutal dictator Nicolas Maduro. All of this, plus tonight, Hannity shootout. We're going to have our old friend, comrade Bill de Blasio, talk about his fellow comrade, Zoran Kami Marxist Mamdani, and his very...
God, this is so fucking labored. Can you imagine working this hard just not to say the word Epstein?
extremist views and his team of extremists.
Well, if you have extremist views, I think it's better to have a team. Yeah.
Are they now implementing very racist policies in New York City, as you can see?
Why? Are you thinking about voting for him now?
The news is developing at a rapid pace, both at home and abroad. Democrats on Capitol Hill, they're stuck in 2021. Today, they
2021
commemorated the January 6th Capitol riots with a very solemn candlelight vigil. This is worthy of a Saturday Night Live skit. They were singing. But we begin tonight with actual breaking news. Now tonight out of Venezuela, the Don Road Doctrine.
God damn. Try harder. The Don Road Doctrine. You realize we're just going to call it the Dumbo Doctrine, right? Like, I swear to God, I fear for whatever names Sean Hannity gave his children, that it's almost like he went through a baby book and picked names that are most likely to be mocked by other children because he just can't see it coming.
As it is now called, is in full effect. And Venezuelan oil will soon be flowing right here into the U.S. and hopefully to the people of Venezuela. The president.
Well, I would think they'd be able to handle that themselves, or I think that's what they were helping themselves to this entire time.
Putting on Truth Social, he made the following statement.
You should sniff more. It lets people know that, you know, not only do you use cocaine, but you know where to get the good stuff.
Quote, interim authorities in Venezuela will be turning over between 30 and 50 million barrels of high-quality sanctioned oil to the U.S. This oil will be sold at market price, and that money will be controlled.
To who? What he means is Besant is going to write a check to Venezuela, and we're going to cash it.
Controlled by me as the president of this country to ensure.
Sorry, he's the president of Venezuela now? Goodbye.
It is used to the benefit of the people of Venezuela and the United States. That is a whopping
yeah, Epstein doctrine. I like that. I think that works better.
$2.5 billion for the American and Venezuelan people. And just to recap.
Mostly the American people, and not, you know, the general American public. Obviously, oil execs.
In just 3 daring hours inside Venezuela, Trump removed an illegitimate dictator, narco-terrorist, saved Americans from in the.
Gee, it's almost like our military is fantastic at quick actions in a country we're not actually at war with.
Country from the lethal.
Sorry, I want him to say that again. So, quote that again.
Inside Venezuela, Trump removed an illegitimate dictator, narco-terrorist, saved Americans from in this country from.
Is every word in his teleprompter punching him in the face right now?
The lethal drug trade that he was profiting off of. They also eliminate.
I'm really good with a teleprompter. I don't obviously use one on this show. I have one, but I don't put any words in it. Which I think is probably obvious from when I ramble about an unnecessary topic for a while. I don't call it the weave though. I call it the bob. It's a different thing entirely. And I think look out. But I will say it's not hard. I'll show you. Here you go. See this, that article I was just reading about. Yeah, here it is. That article I was just showing you guys about Biden and oil. I'll put that in my teleprompter. So Biden came home and hatched a plan to use the Strategic Petroleum Reserve more aggressively than any president ever before as a seller of last resort to moderate prices at the pump. Here's some of the facts that couldn't be explored in the MSNBC spot. One, the idea of using the SPR as a moderating force to prices is not new, but the fast scheduling and the amount of oil released by the Biden administration definitely was. 180 million barrels, or about 40% of the total held reserves. The mechanism of using sovereign stockpiles to manipulate consumer prices is also not new. I had suggested using this mechanism myself to help augment the transition to renewables in my book, Turning Oil Green. And other democratic countries, particularly in the hot and arid areas of the Middle East and Africa, have been using sovereign stockpiles of grain, for example, to cage prices for decades. There you go, decades. There you go. Like, that's... come on, man. You do this every fucking night. Get your act together, stupid. Fucking, it's goddamn... Look, I know he's an asshole with bad ideas, and he's morally ambiguous and grotesque, and he's a cheerleader for some of the most awful things the president is doing, and all that. But this is just fucking lame. Hannity, you're fucking lame. You suck at your job, and it's not hard. You don't even do anything. You show up a half hour before the show. Other people have put this into the fucking teleprompter. You gaze at it, and then you fucking ramble it out, and then have a couple of caged interviews that they throw your way that you know they know the outcome of beforehand, because your producer sets up the questions and the responses, and the only time you'd have any leeway at all is when you're dunking on some like liberal that you picked just so you could have a fight because the show sucks, and it's the only way you can drag audience there is this stupid kind of shitty online debate bro bullshit.
A key ally for Russia, China, and Iran, took control over the largest oil reserves in the entire world and are enriching both.
And our word hit me in face.
The people of Venezuela and the American people will benefit in the end as well. So, yeah, despite the performative groans from the Democratic Party, this move was incredibly popular. Take a look.
Okay, U.S. military ousting Maduro. Pre-ousting, what you saw was the clear plurality of Americans opposed at 47%, just 21% support. Come over to this side of the screen. After the ousting, look at that. The support through the roof. Now we're talking about 37%.
That's because maggots will, like half of maggots will do whatever Trump wants. They were against this. I mean, I don't know when the fuck the pre-ousting poll, when was that? Any time before it actually happened? Did you guys know it was going to happen and you asked him the day before? Or was this during the Biden administration?
Well within the margin of error.
No, not well within shit. Tell me when you did the first poll.
Right here of the opposition, 38%.
When was it? Say it!
It turns out Americans like what they deem to be successful foreign policy operations.
What are you talking about? You're 20% of people, more than 20% of people, don't even know anything enough about it to support it. More oppose it than support it. So the assumption is the people who don't know anything about it could care fucking less, so they don't support it, which means they're not, they fall into the opposed category by default.
And in this case, they view the ousting of Maduro, at least up
Yes, and he is using CNN as his source, which is fuck you, Sean Hannity.
to this point
You lazy bastard. You can't shit on CNN all the time and then use their homework.
as a successful one, and therefore
This guy's a fucking moron, you know, who did my essay test for the classes, midterm.
or the support way up. They believe that he should be on trial for drug trafficking. Look at this. 50% of Americans favor compared to just 14% who.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean go in. Like, I think he should be on trial for drug trafficking. How he ends up going to trial matters.
Oppose. So there are very few Americans here who oppose it. Even among Democrats, the opposition number is below, get this, just 24%, is below 25%.
Now, Matt Towery, Insider Advantage, had it at 56%, but make no mistake, this doesn't begin and end with Venezuela. The Trump administration now eyeing swift action in Cuba with a potential oil block.
God damn, he's out of breath just from trying to read.
That country is in deep trouble tonight. And in Iran,
They were in deep trouble last week.
President Trump has vowed to back the protesters, and we have a lot of video to share with you tonight.
Yes, so you can avoid talking, I guess.
Protesting that country's radical Islamist regime. Take a look at your screen. Major.
Look at the guy with the smiley jacket. That's fucking sweet. How do you even buy that in Iran? You can't even buy that. Honestly, look at that jacket. That is sunshine with sleeves.
Clashes are now underway across the entire country of Iran, including its capital city, where now 36 have been killed. The mullahs
killed.
They are losing their grip on power.
So Trump is a liar 36 times over because he said if they were to shots protesters, they would. We're locked and loaded and ready to go in. He was like, we'll wait till you hit an even 40, 50. 60. Once you hit 70, I think 80 is an obvious number where 90 or 100, 150, it's up to you. I mean, they're your people.
We speak. Their proxies have been humiliated, their nuclear program obliterated, their economy is in shambles, and they're even running out of water and other critical supplies. And get this.
Yeah, Trump turned the tap on in California, and interesting, all the water drained out of Iran. Most people don't know that all the water in Northern California comes through the earth.
The government is now reportedly offering their citizens a whopping $7 a month. Wow, to stop protesting. That's right. $7 a month, a bribe. That is.
Yeah, but what is, that's like a million reals or whatever. Hold on. Let's take a look at this. Iran offers $7 a month to... Yeah, that'll be there. That's a... Okay. I love how he's doing to foxnews.com because this is a New York Times article that they just... that Fox News will list other articles from other news organizations, and then they will make this graphic look like it's theirs. The payments are the latest step to alleviate economic pressures, but given the severity of the crisis, critics say they are likely to do little. You think? Plan according to government spokeswoman Fatema Mahajarani is aimed at preserving households' purchasing power by controlling inflation and ensuring food security, but it will likely do little to ease the economic struggles of most Iranians whose minimum needs cost upward of $200 a month. Well, if your minimum needs for the month are $200, $7 is a lot. It's obviously, the inflation versus what the U.S. dollar is worth is more of a factor in that. What you can buy with $7 if all your needs can be met with $200. Right? That's like giving Americans, what, 500? Yeah, 3.5% is a lot.
Desperate government, short on options and short on cash.
Jeez, it's just like people who invested in Trump's cryptos.
Obviously. The Ayatollah even reportedly has contingency plans in place to flee to Vladimir Putin's Russia. I'm sure a lot of cash will be on that plane or...
Mm-hmm. But hey, that's Trump's buddy.
Some type of currency. And
some type of currency. Yes, he pays for everything in dildos. I don't know if you know that.
And what comes next? And what role, if any, will the U.S. play? Hey, Sean Hannity here.
I guess you're not going to answer any of those questions. He's just going to... That's the end of that clip. How the fuck do you edit that? How is that the end of your goddamn conversation? Sounds like Texas. It does. Sounds a lot like Texas. Okay, the next thing up, let me see if I can do this. Bunk. Do I have to, yeah, okay. You guys know we enjoy our everybody should panic or maybe not, I don't know. People don't really know what to do. And Dim Pool over here, it says US seizes Russian flag tanker, World War III fears erupt. I did not noticed that while I was at CES this afternoon that World War III fears had erupted. Apparently, all MAGA does is panic.
World War III is back on the menu, boys. The United States has just...
Yeah, by the way, there are no women that watch his show, so that makes sense.
Seized.
There are also no adult males, I think.
A Russian-flagged oil tanker that had been linked to Venezuela.
Yes, I learned that on NBC News. Home of actual journalism that you shit on all the time, but if it didn't exist, you would have nothing to cite.
Even after Russia dispatched a submarine to escort it, news is breaking early this morning, and things are about to get interesting. Of course,
I'm sorry you live such a sad life, but my life is always interesting. Must suck.
Donald Trump launched an operation to remove Maduro from power, arrest him, bring him to the United States. Now, we have fears of instability rising in Venezuela as the...
Do we? Or do we have instability rising? I mean, are we to be, again, kind of fuck your feelings? Like...
Colectivos, these motorcycle gangs, are going around...
It's pronounced colectivo.
Threatening anybody who opposes the Maduro regime, despite the fact that he's...
That there is no Maduro regime?
On.
Yes. Sorry, maybe they're threatening anybody who opposes his legal arguments in New York courtrooms?
There are
/ Miami?
Questions as to whether or not this will lead to an escalation.
Between us and Venezuela as a country? You mean like war?
The operation against Venezuela was largely due to the fact that they were transporting oil, which had been sanctioned by the United States.
No, it was about them killing people with drugs, Americans dying of drugs. The oil was an afterthought, like, hey, we could just fucking take that too. According to Trump, anyway.
To Iran and to China. China, of course, which needs to import large amounts of oil.
Why would they take oil to Iran? Iran has oil. You think they were just switching ships and then taking it to China?
The U.S. basically said, we're not going to allow you to operate in our backyard. China and Iran.
Somebody read the backyard conversation between Putin and Trump, where Putin offered Venezuela in exchange for Ukraine because you get out of my backyard, I'll get out of yours. Clearly, dipshit thumbed past that today.
Had military assets in Venezuela. Trump made a move. Now he's making a move against a vessel that is Russian flagged. Now, of course, the media, it's a mixed bag.
There might even be a debate about the economic or strategic value of doing such an action.
Some are saying it's a Venezuelan tanker. They don't care about the Russian designation. But the reason this tanker is flagged as Russian was intentionally to make it so that if the U.S. made a move against them, Russia would claim it was an act of aggression upon them.
Or it's just they ran out of like phony ships to send to Venezuela because they'd either sank or abandoned them in the water, or China didn't return them, which is another fucking story. And so they didn't have other ships they could fucking send.
Not Venezuela. Now, of course, I believe we're going to see from U.S. interest that it was a Venezuelan vessel because they don't want to say that they just directly attacked a Russian vessel.
Well, they didn't attack it. They took it. They didn't bomb it or kill the crew. It's a fucking tanker. It's not a battleship.
I believe Russia will then say the inverse, that this was actually a Russian oil tanker and they...
Well, if anybody's an expert on what Russia messages and what they want to say, it'd be a former Tenet media employee. I'm kidding.
U.S. is now aggressing upon Russia. Ladies and gentlemen, we got news recently that the UK was committing to deploy troops into Ukraine. This is a dramatic step towards escalation.
It is. It's very dramatic. They did it with a lot of flourish. Like when they literally had Lord Fauntleroy come out and say, we've decided amongst ourselves, to put troops into the Ukraine. Yes? And he did it, and then he waggled his wig.
Now, we don't know exactly what's going to happen.
Well, that's kind of true in life, isn't it?
And of course, a lot of people are going to say, let's just hold your horses.
That's exactly right. I was thinking, hold your horses.
A little bit. This might not immediately drive things to an extreme degree, but let me just say, waking up and hearing that the U.S. was seizing a Russian vessel with a submarine escort,
you're like, oh shit, is some of my money on that boat?
Holy crap moment. So, of course, let's get into the news. We've got this.
Yeah, break it down for us because, I like the emotional hyperbole and the kind of bullshitting, but I'd love to hear what you think the facts actually are.
Special report from NBC. Before we do, my friends, I got a big announcement. Go to, not that story. Go to Boom Minute Edition. They
Go
fixed
away,
and
shut
then
up.
they escape. But
no.
now it's a web. The code.
Stop it.
And their reports.
And then
here's
boring.
the story from NBC News. We have this special report. Let's
bring
in their breaking report here.
We have breaking news off the coast of Venezuela. The U.S. has started an operation to seize an oil tanker there. That's according to 2 U.S. officials. And one of those officials tells us,
sorry, I'm now having to watch this asshole watch TV.
The ship has been secured. And
now I just want to pause and say, NBC, they've titled this U.S. secures oil tanker linked to Venezuela. You know what I'm annoyed by? The media's
the neutral language
is always lying to you, okay? And you know it.
You mean seizes? You would rather them say seizes?
Probably one of the reasons why you're watching this YouTube video. The U.S. didn't secure a tanker linked to Venezuela.
Yeah, they did, technically.
U.S. has seized by force a Russian-flagged tanker.
Right, which is what the mill bloggers that work for Russia have been saying. Everybody else is like, it's in international waters. It was carrying Venezuelan oil. It's Venezuelan crude, not the oil. I mean, it is crude. There is a crew of Venezuelans, and it's not going to or from Russia. And its ownership is private, not owned by the public of Russia, or as a state-owned vehicle or a military vehicle
that we believe was transporting sanctioned oil from Venezuela to China, Iran, Russia, etc. And they didn't begin.
And don't forget cocaine.
An operation to do it, as they've titled this article. They literally did it, as he just said.
NBC News senior national correspondent Courtney Cubey joins us now with more on this breaking story. So, Courtney.
And by the way, Tim, when he says moron, he means you.
This tanker, formerly known as Bella 1, recently that name changed to the Marinera. It's...
Sorry, was the Pasta Vazul taken?
Russian flagged. Help us understand what that means and what you're learning about this operation.
And we all get to watch Tim Pool learn what it means at the same time.
Right. So it's and at this point, the U.S. still sees it as a stateless vessel. So they don't at least.
Somebody's got their panties in a bunch on behalf of Russia.
As of
shocker
this morning, they still do not acknowledge that it is.
Sure.
It is a Russian flagged vessel. But you'll remember this all started over the holidays more than a week ago, when then the Bella 1 left Venezuela. The U.S. was enforcing this embargo or stopping or blocking ships that were leaving Venezuela that had any kind of sanctions or carrying oil, and they were seizing and interdicting these ships, primarily with the Coast Guard, usually in support.
And it slipped through, and it's been running from us, and we had to chase it down. And it's a big ship, but you have to send a big ship after it because it will take a big ship to have all the materials and the people and the personnel that you will need to get it back, and also to tow the goddamn thing back to the States, I guess.
With support of the United States military. But the Bella 1 evaded that. They brushed off the efforts for the U.S. to board that ship and then started making their way towards Europe. Since then, the U.S. has essentially been in pursuit of that tanker. There are reports that Russian naval assets have also joined in and have been
This is Tim Pool shiting himself.
Essentially escorting that ship.
Wow. I should have done my homework on this.
Yep.
We've been watching now as the U.S. has been pursuing it.
But can I just say, congrats, NBC News. You've hit Dimpool right in the feels. You know, you like the way you framed the story, the way you've presented it has made him emotionally attached to the outcome. He's staring longingly at the nipple end of the boat, clearly with thoughts he's not quite comfortable with running through his head. And I want to congratulate you, everybody at NBC News, for, I mean, obviously, you know, this is journalism 101, and trapping a person with the brain of a hamster is not that difficult, but I still think you deserve credit.
Now, officials telling us that they began planning for an operation to actually seize it now that it's in European waters. And in fact, that did occur this morning. One of those officials saying the U.S. seized the Bella 1, that it was a mission that was led by the Department of Homeland Security in support or with support of the United States military, the Department of Defense, and
you know, all those people Trump put in charge of, you know, those things that you like.
The Department of Homeland Security actually has the lead. Now, guys, what that pretty much means is that there was Coast Guard involvement. That's what we've seen in these other seizures. Remember, the Coast Guard fault.
I like the feeling of my mustache brushing against the top of my finger. I did a BM earlier, and I'm just sneakily smelling it.
Under DHS, and that at this point there are now U.S. law enforcement officials who are on board.
Jesus Christ, this is worse than Ben fucking Shapiro. We know the story, shithead. Finish the story. There you go. He just, hold on, I want to see what he's reacting.
Incident. The Coast Guard who are used for this are these elite forces who are
elite. Well,
are very highly trained, specially trained for these sort of dangerous boardings like this. So this is literally what they're trained to do.
So we get it. Right now the reports are no shots fired, no direct conflict, a direct seizure.
Yeah, it's not a military vehicle.
With the help of DHS and the Department of Defense. However, let's be real. Come on.
Yeah, man. Give it to us straight, brother. Yeah, no more bullshit.
There's always going to be this propagandistic effort of like, oh, it was seized without incident. It was an interdiction. This is a military action.
It's even more than that. It's a combination military and legal interdiction.
This is the BRICS nations. This is the NATO nations. It's the Western powers. It's the Eastern powers.
Yes, this is the first shot fired in World War III.
Iran and China and Russia have been operating through Venezuela, and they've been getting access to this oil. Now, a lot of people have had an issue with the U.S. regime change operation in Venezuela.
Not me. I mean, I think we're all good with that, right, everybody? We're just good.
I'm not going to say war just yet, but if it becomes a war, well, then I'm going to give credit to a lot of people. This is what we fear when we say we should not be removing leadership from these countries.
See, it's bad whether it ends up in a war or not, because it could in other situations, and it's illegal and unconstitutional. It's against our laws as well. So the idea isn't that you can't be against bad shit only when it goes bad. As a matter of fact, you should be more against it when it works out, because it becomes more tempting to try it again. I don't know, say with Cuba or Colombia or fucking Greenland, or, I mean, obviously this started with Gaza.
That being said, you know, the fascinating thing to me is there's been this argument for some time following Iraq and Afghanistan in the past 20 some odd years about anybody who was anti-intervention in these countries was an isolationist. And I scoff at that. Shut up.
Yeah, guys, come on.
Me, it's clear.
I don't care, really.
To me, to Donald Trump in 2016 in the primaries, when he said to Jeb Bush, your brother lied to us, we should not have been in Iraq and Afghanistan. It was stupid. We've also got problems with Syria, our involvement with Libya, NATO largely, and the expansion of ISIS. It's been a disaster. What was the point of this?
Sorry, Trump just bombed Syria again.
Stabilize the rate.
Also, we paid off a bunch of people in Yemen. There's literally a bunch of people trapped in fucking Yemen right now. Hundreds of people on an island because we basically paid off the warlords and they shut down the airport.
Going to stop China and Russia? Oh, come on. Don't get me wrong. That literally was the strategy, and they were hoping for a positive outcome. But after 20 years of Afghanistan and we failed?
Oh, well, Biden got us out. I mean, obviously Trump failed to get us out.
Lord help us. Now, Venezuela, similar but different. And very
Thanks. Yeah, that's true. It is very close, but it's also very far away.
Very different, to be completely honest. Just because there are some similarities doesn't mean it's gonna play out one for one. And just because
You don't say.
Many people have pointed out foreign interventions in like Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan, etc., Ukraine, perhaps, Israel is a waste of time.
Sorry, Ukraine?
Time and energy. Doesn't mean that every single operation is the same.
Right, yeah. Obviously, there's oil involved in this, so it's totally different than ones where it's just, you don't give a shit about the Ukrainian people being free, and of course, as many Jews or Palestinians getting killed, it's like shrug from you, right?
Ukraine is different from Israel, despite the fact that I disagree.
Yeah, Sudan will never come up.
Agree with both of our military operations with these countries. To be fair, Israel now on like a 70-year thing, Ukraine on 2 or 3. Venezuela is different. It is different. That doesn't mean it's right. Doesn't mean it's good. It's just different.
Thank you. Yes, that's true. And now if you could just apply that to human beings, you might sound like a Democrat.
So it's silly to me when I see people who are like, remember when we all said no intervention? I think Venezuela too. And I'm like, no. Don't just be a blanket. We can't.
Yeah. I mean, some intervention. I'm not an anti-interventionist. I'm a some interventionist. Because it's manly.
Explain to me why we shouldn't. Now, I can give you some...
Sorry, that's where we start? Sorry, you need to start with all intervention, explain to me why we shouldn't? That's the category, not explain to me why we should.
Real arguments over the Venezuela issue.
Holy fuck.
You got the collectivos driving on motorcycles right now in Venezuela, threatening people who oppose the Maduro regime despite the fact that he's gone. These are communists. Destabilization is bad. There's a power vacuum. Cartels can move in. And unless the U.S. wants to actually send boots on the ground into Caracas to secure the state of Venezuela,
guess what?
Okay, you're likely going to get instability.
Well, and so it's either instability or boots on the ground. And Trump just said kidnapping is not a bad word, and neither are boots on the ground, because we had boots on the ground the other night at a very high level.
Now, the U.S.'s view on this, let's go back in time. I think it was about 2006. Venezuela nationalized our oil assets.
Ours? They're privately owned corporate assets. How are they ours?
So the U.S. had been operating in Venezuela, not necessarily the government, but...
Right, not the taxpayers, but private companies.
U.S. corporations.
Right. So what?
Hugo Chavez gets in and says, your oil drilling facilities and everything that you paid for and built is ours now.
By the way, this is the argument for invading Iran and deposing the Shah in the first place.
They stole it from us, okay?
Dun, dun, dun. Sorry, that was my bad. This should be should be in here. Is this one? No. But there we go. Well, clutch the pearls. What a sneaky thing to do.
If I agree to partner with you and I'm going to spend the money, and then let's say I go to this restaurant and I say, hey, let's do a deal. I'm going to set up, they got these little vending machine kiosks, right?
Yeah,
where
they do.
You got a refrigerator. Have you ever seen these? There's a little scanner box.
Yeah,
and people can open the fridge, scan the item, and walk out,
awesome.
self-checkout little kiosks.
Yeah,
They're amazing.
Yeah, sure.
I love
Just
them.
use your palm.
So let's say
or
go to a
whatever.
restaurant, say, I want to add this to your lobby so that people who are leaving, coming or going can grab a bag of chips or a drink on the way out. And they say,
in a
sure,
restaurant that serves
do it.
bag of chips.
Then I spend 20 grand, build this thing, set it up, and the next day they say, it's ours now, and they kick us out.
Oh my God.
That would be... that's a civil infraction, right? I'm going to sue them. You can't do that. You stole it from me. That's what Venezuela did. Now, the U.S., following this, largely did nothing. There were sanctions. There were threats. There was politicking. But I got to be honest. If you steal from me, I think, like, I'm literally, if someone comes to me and, like, stole something from my car, I believe I should have I have the right to use force to reacquire that, not to physically harm the person.
Well, then what's the force for? To gingerly remove it from their fucking fingers?
Depending on the escalation of violence. I'm saying...
Obviously. Yeah, it depends on the object, I guess. If it's your bag of chips, obviously, I'm going to go with nothing higher caliber than a 38.
I'm going to take it back from you, okay? I'm going to stop you from doing it.
Watch out. Tim's going to come. You take his fucking chips. Better watch out, man.
The U.S. didn't even do that. It went all political.
That's because it wasn't... It wasn't U.S. tax dollars. It was fucking private organizations. They made an investment, and they got fucked. Sorry. We're responsible for every shit. Like, we're going to go to war everywhere somebody invests in a foreign country and loses their goddamn shirt. Good luck with Operation Import-Export, dumbass.
Now we have Maduro removed from power. He comes in after Chavez. Chavez puts him in power, basically his old bus driver guy, and now he's in charge of this country, and he's an idiot. And the U.S. finally says, we've had enough of this. Because it's not just that you stole our oil assets, you used our...
They're not our oil assets. Also, the oil companies that had them at the time wrote them off and didn't pay taxes equivalent to the cost of those things. So they lost no money in particular. They just didn't gain any money that would have come from it. And the American taxpayer ate their losses.
Our oil assets to pump oil and give it to our enemies, our adversaries. I know we're not at war with them. Now, I don't want to go to war with Iran. I don't want to be at war with Russia. But I don't think Russia and Iran are good guys, nor China. They are our enemies, and they want to screw us over.
Tell them, Tim.
So they're now getting oil from Venezuela with our assets that we installed in our...
How dare they?
...hemisphere, in our backyard. So, is it good that we went in and removed Maduro? I don't necessarily know that's the case. How?
I don't know. I don't really have an opinion about the actual thing we're talking about.
However, sometimes there's difficult decisions and it's bad either way.
Sure. So if it's a fucking juggle and you're like, I don't know which way this is going to go, probably opt for when you can kill 75 people and kidnap somebody.
Should the U.S. allow Venezuela to have stolen our oil assets? I know it's our oil companies, but it's still U.S. flagged interests. And
I'm sorry. So you're concerned that America didn't go to war on the level you think Russia should go to war against the United States.
Use that to send Iran, China, and Russia oil.
Good God.
Which they then use to levy war against us. Now, I know people are going to say, they're not at war. No, cyber war. Okay? Trade war. Why are we tolerating this?
Because escalating it to murder seems a bit much.
And so now you have very serious questions.
I do. Like, do you smell almonds or burnt toast? Is the evil communist oil man in the room with us now?
Not going to tell you that any of these things are good. I just don't know. But
Great. I'm glad we tuned in. Congratulations, Tim Pool viewers. I understand why you keep coming back to this fucking slop trough to further your understanding of these ideas and get a real definitive answer.
Not so stupid or blind as to say we should do nothing. I just don't know.
But you're saying we should do something, or that it's right to do something.
Iraq and Afghanistan are easy in hindsight. You see,
no, they're not. They're easy in prediction. When they predicted them, they thought they would be easy. In hindsight, they fucking sucked.
We see the damage, we see the civilian deaths, and we see the failure there, and we see the lies that brought us into that. It's hard to know in the moment. Hindsight is 2020.
Oh, I see. See, easier to judge in retrospect, right? Yeah, from like the impotent Vienna sausage position that you fucking have in all these things. Yeah, it's easier to look back on stuff and go, told you. I mean, I didn't tell you, but told you.
Right now, I'm not a big fan of this operation to seize a Russian-flagged vessel because of the escalation that it may produce. The question is, will Russia go full bore against us, or will this eventually make them back down?
These are their only two options. Shit. It's a difficult one. Let's see. Will they go full bore, or they go full bore, or God damn it. Okay, this is shit. There's a I'm gonna go. Let's full bore. I'm gonna go with full bore. God damn it! I always get it wrong. I always thought that was my bad. I should have gone with what was option number one.
I'm not convinced Russia backs down. I'm really not. But I also don't think
from what. Sorry. Apparently they have two options: back down or open warfare, World War III. And you're not convinced that they're not just gonna nuke us now?
Let me put it like.
And you can't. And by the way, you think that's the obvious outcome, and you can't tell whether that's good or bad.
Let's personalize it.
If I stole somebody's tanker.
Describe for your neighbor across the street is selling drugs, selling weapons.
Mm-hmm.
There's people being trafficked, and you're sitting there, and it's leaking across the street onto your property.
Sorry, there are people leaking across the street onto my. Are they melting, or are they? Is this beep beep boo boo?
Now, on your property, you go and you grab these people, you get them arrested, and you eventually say, you go knock on the door of your neighbor's house and say, dude, stop, okay?
Yeah, please. Okay, just stop. We all know what that ooze is coming across my street, and I don't like it.
Because your garbage is spilling over into our property. Not to
Yeah, I don't care that you're selling human beings.
mention the neighbor had already stolen a bunch of stuff from you 20 years ago.
Oh, what a dick. And I haven't moved. Maybe this is my fault. Maybe I'm just codependent as a neighbor.
At what point do you say, okay, we're stopping this guy by force? He says, hey, it's my property. I can do whatever I want. You can't stop.
Well, clearly you can't, because I can call it. He's in the same neighborhood as me. This is okay. What if he moved to another country with my lawnmower, and while he had my lawnmower, he was using my lawnmower to grow poppies and making opioids, and I was sent by Delta Force. This is I'm losing you, I know, but it's a great story. I'm gonna work on a pitch deck, and we're gonna sell it to Netflix.
I mean, no, we call the cops and we say, put enough. So there's questions of...
Do I call the cops while I'm on his stoop? Because he's a drug dealer, and he's got people in there that he is human trafficking. So I'm a little concerned for my safety at this point.
International law. But guess what?
What?
When you go to your neighbor's house, the cops show up and they arrest him.
Yep.
The gangbangers that he's been supplying are pissed off.
Uh-oh.
Now they're...
Why didn't I think this through?
Coming for you. The point is this.
Why did I have to go over there and call the cops while I was on his stoop? I should have pulled the drape shut and called and gone, I'm taking pictures right now. He's right there right now. Yes. They're serving sushi and someone is snorting cocaine off the buttocks of a woman that I do not think wants to be there. Yes. Come right away. No, I read lips. I think that's what he said to his guest.
I know it's not so easy. It's international politics.
It's basically like a neighbor across the street who's running a fucking trap house. It's a very, very little difference.
Do we just keep allowing Russia, Iran, and China to aggress upon us?
No, I think we should side with Ukraine and give Russia the what for. I think let's start there. That's the easy one.
Cyber attack our infrastructure, steal assets from us, set up military operations in our backyard.
Yeah, well, or biggest Russian embassy in the world is in Mexico. Coincidence? I think not.
Or is there at some point where we got to say, bro, I tried the carrot, now you're getting the stick?
Yummy. Oh, I need a boing. This is the closest thing. At some point, CSL, I'm going to have to dig up some sort of a boing. It's just going to come. It's going to be useful, necessary. This is probably a dumb question, but did you happen to see any mesh-tested integrated device like a bike? Yes, I did. I'll talk more about CES tomorrow, by the way. How's my camera battery? Ass. Okay.
The funny thing is, you get these people, they're commenting like, you're a neocon now, bro.
You got it there.
It is not neocon to say, stop hitting me.
Well, I mean, you can't argue with that. That's, cut and dried right there. Facts are facts, ladies. Is it neocon, though, to grab someone's hand and smack them with their own hand and go, why are you hitting yourself? Why are you hitting yourself?
Right, the neocon era of the Bush era politics where we got to travel 20,000 miles across the sea with our military and nation building in Afghanistan.
Right, but it was based on the idea that they hit us on 9/11, and they were believing that they would reconstitute through that entire area through both finance networks and associates throughout the region. And Afghanistan was primary, but then Iraq became a secondary aspect of that when there was sort of a retreat zone into Iraqi territory, and you wouldn't be able to deal with that and what was effectively growing into Al-Qaeda and the ISIS caliphate later if you didn't take out Saddam Hussein first. And so that was the reasoning that they actually gave.
Why?
Oh, God.
No, I get it. China wants to get into Afghanistan as well. There's lithium.
Which no one needs anymore. Okay, real quick. I'm going to nerd out for 1 second. Solid-state batteries without lithium are being developed, primarily using abundant materials like sodium, offering lower costs and better sustainability while still leveraging solid electrolytes, ceramics, and glass for enhanced safety, higher energy density, and faster charging than traditional liquid lithium-ion batteries, which companies like Donut Lab showing near production readiness for non-lithium solid-state designs. So you don't need lithium, and that's the direction batteries are going to fucking go. Dipshit. Thank you. Thanks very much. That'll do great. I'll install that one in a bit. But there was this, don't play it, don't do it. All right. Verge motorcycles. There we go. Verge motorcycles live on the okay, and allow all. There we go. And then we'll see scroll it and where are we? In United States English. Boink. There we go. This fucking thing is sweet. 370-mile range, 200 kilowatt charging speed, 80% charge in less than 10 minutes. What's also a big deal about this fucking sweet ride and the cool wheel, like the super fucking cool wheel it has in the back, that it goes 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds. It's got a 217-mile range and 737 foot-pounds of torque. God damn it. I'll tell you what it is. It's Where's the? I guess they talk about it here. Charging. Yeah, here you go. Battery. The first solid-state battery in motorcycling. Choose a 20.2 kilowatt or a 33.3 kilowatt battery pack, delivering up to 217 miles or up to 370 miles of range. 370 miles on the bigger battery pack. That's fucking sweet. And it charges up 80% in 10 goddamn minutes. Oh, thank you for looking into the CSL. I can't imagine what your neighbors think hearing through your fucking window a bunch of times as you're trying to figure out which one is good. These things are fucking sweet. And lithium-ion battery? No. Solid state, ladies and gentlemen. No more lithium needed for that. That's right. That is a battery that will not, explode and burn forever. Sodium-based solid-state battery. Faster charging, safer. What's not to like? And you don't need fucking lithium. So, it's not Dimpool's fault. He's old. So he doesn't understand us whippersnappers,
Other natural, it's a strategic location. We've been involved in this conflict going back to the Cold War. And so Bush is like, we're going to go across the war. Why? So let me put it like this. Do you think it was bad the U.S. went the other side of the planet to Afghanistan, into the backyard of these other countries to nation build?
There's the word backyard again. He definitely read that Russia response.
I think it was a bad thing. Okay. It's also a bad thing when Iran, China, and Russia do it in Venezuela in our backyard. So now I look at the Trump...
Dude, you got paid by fucking Russia. There's shit in your backyard that Russia paid for. Your actual fucking backyard, you chimp.
Doctrine. We should not be in Afghanistan, Iraq. Get our troops out of there. Don't get me...
And get the Russians out of your fucking backyard. Give back all the money, Tim.
Wrong. Trump said he wants to...
Give back all the Russian tenant money. Give it back. You don't need it, allegedly.
Go back. Not a good idea. But in the meantime, let's just say this.
Or give it to charity.
It's where we are now. Trump says, why are we over there? It was a lie. We should be in our hemisphere guarding our assets. I agree. We shouldn't go to another...
Yeah, and Venezuela is not our asset, asshat.
Continent to someone else's backyard and nation build. And we shouldn't allow someone else...
Also, what the fuck makes another country your goddamn backyard? For real. How does that measure up at all? Why does Venezuela count as our backyard? Last time I checked, your backyard is your fucking property. I'm fairly certain the red states are our backyard. Pretty sure. Worldwide, our front yard is our tourist destinations like New York and Chicago and LA and San Francisco and Seattle. That's our front yard. Our backyard is fucking Arkansas. Okay, well, I'm going to skip this one because I don't have time to cover all this stuff and I just want to jump in. Okay. Before I close out the evening, ladies and gentlemen, we must deal with the Maduro situation and the Venezuela situation with the seriousness it deserves. We need to find an expert that can teach us all about the complexities of it. It's not enough to just mock somebody because they don't, really have a grasp on anything. We need to, oh shit. Well, I scuttle that plan. Jim Brewer's take on the U.S. attacking Venezuela. I'm guessing he's going to make, I'm going to throw this out there, a donkey noise at some point. Like that's going to happen at some point. I'm betting on it.
I don't like touching noise. I have to say this. There's a lot of noise out there. I went to coffee. And they're like, yeah, there's a million noises going on out there.
Yeah, there's noise. The U.S. attacking another country and arresting their leader. It's just blah, blah, blah. It's, Ben-Gen bullshit. It's People Magazine. It's gossip, It's like a Real Housewives episode.
And I'll leave it to the guys and I'll tell you what I honestly think.
Okay, this will be new.
About all the noise, about the country and our decisions and our leaders and blah, blah, blah.
You mean Trump?
And I'll tell you exactly what I think about it. All right, let's cut to the guys over here. What is your...
Please tell me how to... give me something to respond to because I don't care. That's what this is.
What is your noise concerns over there?
Jesus.
Start with you, Kyle.
All right. Have you seen what's been going on in Venezuela? I mean, the U.S. went in. We got.
I know it happened.
All right. But did you see what the White House put out after the fact?
No. What they put out?
All right. Let me show you.
You can't tell me?
No, you're going to
I'm going to like it?
Yeah.
Why am I going to like it? It's hilarious?
Yeah.
Okay.
Venga por mí. Aquí no esperan Miraflores. No se tarde en llegar. ¡Cobarde!
And now, if you don't know, now you know.
The White House put this out?
Yeah, it's a bunch of douchebags.
This is okay. You can't tell me.
I'm still trying to think of what my actual take on the actual circumstance is.
You can't tell me the leaders of the world are just like, all right, I say we totally release this, and like what? This is
childish bullshit.
Kardashians. This is what are we watching, a Netflix special?
Yeah, it's dumb. Yes. Yeah, it's idiotic. It's very 6'7".
Like this, it means nothing to me. This is goofy. I got nothing to say about it. What do you think about this?
Please tell me what to think about this, is what he's saying. Jesus Christ. Jim Brewer's take on the U.S. attacking Venezuela. So far, I don't know. What do you think?
Be honest. What do you think about this? What does your generation think about all this that's going on? What do you think we were doing?
Sorry, are these his sons? Or does he just have a bunch of boys come over and hang out in his basement like John Wayne Gacy?
First of all, do you think it really happened? Let's start with that.
No, I don't think so. I think that's a guy in a Maduro suit. They arrested Mario from Donkey Kong.
Do you think it really happened? Do you think we, dropped from helipad and then we walk in and then we captured him and I'm like, hey, look, here he is. Because there's all different pictures when he's wearing black boots and then he's wearing a red hat. I'm exaggerating, but it's all different outfits and all that. And it's a great, it's.
Sorry, this asshole thinks that Trump faked the Maduro kidnapping? That's the take. Okay, I guess if there's a way of getting out of actually committing to the morals of it or the details, pretending it never happened, it's very Tucker Carlson.
Great distraction away from Epstein list.
Sure, there you go.
It's a great distraction away from the Gaza Strip and people getting blown to pieces, and we're going to build a really nice real estate. It's a nice distraction from people getting murdered and who's on the Epstein list going, how old are you, child? They'll never find out.
Okay. By the way, he voted for Trump. He's an active Trump supporter. I don't know when it ended, but I think this is a good indication of somebody finally waking up to some stuff. Will he do anything? No.
Let's go to Nicaragua. Let's go to South America. Let's go to Venezuela. And we'll take their oil. Hooray! Hooray! It's Kardashians. It's Kardashians. When is humanity just gonna stop giving into this? It's a clown show.
Are you fucking nuts? What do you mean humanity? What do you mean clown show? There is no fucking way Harris would have surrounded Venezuela with ships, blew up a bunch of people in goddamn fishing boats, and then abducted the leader of the country, injuring 7 of our troops and killing 75 people in the process. Stop blaming the world or saying both sides or it's the fucking... he's kind of QAnon adjacent, so he thinks that no matter who's in office, we're going to be doing this shit, even though we didn't do it under Biden. We did not. Trump bragged about Trump Plaza Gaza. He's got fucking Witkoff and Kushner in there talking about turning it into the Middle Eastern Riviera, brooming all the fucking Palestinians out of there. And this asshole's suddenly Does Roseanne know? That's all I want to know.
It's a clown show. I don't know what else to tell you. And here's what I tell people.
There's no difference between either side, even though the Democrats didn't do any of this shit.
Any of this? This is energy leaching. That's all it is. It's energy leaching.
I see. It's exhausting to pay attention to when Trump does illegal, immoral, violent, grotesque shit because you stood for him.
Is any of this going to make you a better human being?
Yeah, you could look at it, materially make a judgment, say, if I were in the same position, I wouldn't do this. Therefore, I will not vote for somebody who would behave like that in the future.
Is our amazing situation and our incredible military and this video, are they gonna lower
God damn
your grocery prices? Are they gonna bring the gas prices down? Are they gonna?
Well, technically speaking, I think he's trying to bring the gas prices down by flooding the oil markets, but that won't even do it because most of this Venezuelan oil will be processed in the United States. The oil companies will make money off of it, and then it'll be sold to Europe.
Start paying for your kid that has autism? Are they going to pay for the elderly care? Are they going to
Jesus Christ. No, they are not going to turn into Democrats all of a sudden, you fucking weirdo.
Lower the drug prices where some of the other countries that we're working for the world. I'm not sure if you know that. You're working for the world. They take these.
What kind of Jesus-y bullshit is this?
The guys who made this video are howling with laughter as they take your money and then they invest over here and they say, let's go bomb over here. We got their money.
What the fuck? How did this asshole wake up all Occupy? Now he cares? Now that Trump's in, now that he puts all these people in, you've been defending fucking Kash Patel and Bongholio and Trump himself this whole fucking time. What a douchebag.
Go take over this country.
Yeah, asshole. This is exactly what we were saying would happen.
Let's go take over that. Are any of them picking up your child when they're sick or any?
No, that's a Democrat thing, shithead.
Any of them, my wife, she had cancer. Guess what? Oh, first she was like, Obamacare has been helping out. Are we Obama fans? No. But now that's the only health she can get because of cancer in the past. And guess what?
Okay. That's it. That's why all of a sudden it fucking matters to him. So, now that it affects his fucking family, he's like, oh shit, right. Welcome to the real world, douchebag. Fucking hell. It's like we've... I think, do I have it here? Hold on. I feel like I must have it somewhere. Yeah.
Welcome to the real world.
It's like he's been unplugged from the fucking Matrix. Yeah, stupid. This might be our first official, conversion in the wild of a maggot awakened by healthcare costs. Now that it's affected his family, he suddenly gives a shit. But before that, it's a fucking joke.
It just tripled.
Right. And Democrats shut down the government to try and stop that from happening. And the party you supported and the candidate you supported raised those prices. Guaranteed that they will be raised.
So I can afford $600. It went up $400 extra a month. Who in middle America can afford that?
Gee, it's almost exactly why I voted for Obama twice, you fucking tit.
And who's sitting there going, yay, yay, America?
The entire Republican Party. Your dipshit bros who are at the house. Does he just act this way when his sons are there? Is that what this is?
Other countries have free health care.
Holy shit. Get the fuck out of here. Other countries have free health care. Gee, I'm starting to wonder why they haven't brought you to Turning Point USA again. You're just realizing this? What the fuck?
The ones that are bombing Hamas, the bad Hamas, Hamas bad, Hamas bad. Gaza Strip, Hamas is everywhere, clearly, because they flatten the whole place out. Are they getting...
That's what got a laugh? That's what got a laugh.
Getting health care? Do you know how many billions of dollars...
Man, where were you when we gave $20 billion to Argentina, shithead?
We work... So
he looks like Beaker. Well spotted.
They can take her...
In the live-action Muppet movie, Jim Brewer can play Beaker.
Money and give it to them. You know when I'll be excited?
When your next shipment of Adderall arrives?
I see Trump and this administration going, you know what? We're going to find a way to start figuring out how to love one another.
Well, don't hold your breath, dumb shit.
I know that sounds corny to some of you.
No, it doesn't sound corny at all. It sounds fucking ridiculous. He's a sociopath, you dumbass.
But I hate to tell you, do you think this is a good cause and effect for the world?
No. That's why I voted for her.
If I was living in Venezuela, if I was living in anywhere and I was watching this from who it's like me saying, you know what, we're gonna go take out our neighbor.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's like.
You know, he needs to be taken out. And
I didn't really think we would get Tim Pool's analogy, but worse.
His family wants taken out, so we're going to replace him and we're going to run the house. Do you understand the mentality? If we were taking...
Yeah, we know. It's fucking stupid.
Taken over by France.
It's exactly like that.
And France said, you know what? We got to get rid of Trump. Sorry. Everyone agree? He's bad.
Okay. So far, you're speaking my language.
You're going to sit there and have the audacity to sit there and go.
While I have audacity, I understand that I've been sitting the whole time I have audacity.
That theory of, well, you know, he's a bad leader and we had to take him out. Who are you to take out any leader that hasn't bombed you?
Yeah, fucking French people in this analogy.
That hasn't killed your civilians. And if you're going to go the drug route, please.
Please. Jim's still alive.
Sent our
sort of
children to Afghanistan. They came home, they're still killing themselves. They're still missing their legs. You destroyed families. You were protecting.
Oh, he's talking to the Bush administration, I guess now.
Opium fields. You were protecting heroin, and all this came from.
Oh wait, who brought everybody home? Who was it that ended the Afghanistan war and caught nothing but shit from this asshole and all of his buddies? Riding with somebody. I'll think of it.
Weapons of mass destruction. But now we're in Afghanistan.
That was Iraq.
So if you're going to say it's about drugs,
I'm not going to say it's about drugs.
But you start here, right here. So stop.
At your house? I have no doubt there are drugs there.
Until they start preaching love, until they start taking care of humanity, it's just noise and it's evil. It's either good or evil. Is this good or is it evil?
Yeah, it's basically just flip a coin, I guess.
I'm on the more the evil. I want.
Are you? I can tell.
More God. You know, when they say one nation under God, what God? Define your God. Is it the demonic God? Is it the...
I think that would just be a demon, wouldn't it?
Saturn worship God?
Oh, yeah, because it's Saturn Day and Sunday and Moon Day.
Some of you know what
and Thor's Day.
I'm talking about.
Somebody knows. I don't know.
You need to do your homework. What?
Yeah, do your own research.
God, under one nation under God. Define the God. Is it a God of love? Because
no, that's why they say Judeo-Christian, so they can kind of go back and forth, Old Testament, New Testament, without, really firmly choosing a moral high ground, and so they can go, eye for an eye or stoning someone if they want to go, Old Testament, and then if they want to pat themselves on the back for loving thy neighbor or some shit, then they can go the Christian side.
This is not a God of love right here.
No, Trump is not a god at all. He's a dickhead.
A God of love does not brag about giving someone bombs and murdering innocent people.
You're right. I don't remember that Bible verse, but I'd have to look it up.
For peace. That's not a God of love. I'm for that. And until we all start stepping up and talking about that, it's
There's no love today. When the shark bites, thank you, with his teeth there, and it makes them pearly white. We don't have love. Ladies and gentlemen, we don't have love. New York!
not affecting your life. It's just a leech, little energy leech sucker. Yeah, yeah.
All right, the next best thing to a donkey noise, I guess.
Did you hear about Venezuela and how liberals, conservatives?
I see it's the same. Yeah, the liberals are over here going, we shouldn't do that. That's bad.
Democrats, Republicans.
Yeah, they're exactly the same. And bearing false witness, what does that mean, really?
They're all paid.
Yeah, it's when everybody's paid, you don't ever have to take responsibility for your fucking decisions. And let me just end tonight on that, if I may. One of the unspoken functions of the both-siderism is that it lets the bullshitter off the hook. The person who sided with something awful, the person who was campaigning for somebody terrible, who was engaged in supporting something awful. By saying both sides do it, they go, what choice did I have? I may have secretly voted for Trump or Bush and these things while calling myself a Democrat or like fucking Cenk Uygur, right? But what difference would it make anyways? I mean, I live with the guilt of what I've done and the people that I elected and helped get elected doing the terrible thing. But ultimately, the one way I could let my off, it wouldn't have mattered anyways, right? It wouldn't have mattered. It doesn't matter. Whoever's in charge, it's the same shit all the time. That's how Alex Jones does it. That's how Cenk does it. That's how Jim Brewer's doing it. Both cider your way out of your own responsibility for who you fucking voted for, who you supported, who you helped get elected, and the actions that they are taking that you are now morally culpable in enabling. That's what both-siderism is. Anytime you hear somebody go, both sides do it, I mean, both sides do it, understand that the person who is saying that voted for what the current awful is. Whether it's going into Iraq, or whether it's invading Venezuela, or whether it's fucking sending ICE out on the streets where citizens are getting fucking shot, they voted for it. Because if you voted against it, you don't have the urge to go, everybody does it. Because you know full fucking well that the person that you were voting for wouldn't have done this. Biden got us out of Afghanistan. There was no fucking way that there would be a fucking embargo of ships off of the coast of fucking Venezuela, or we'd be shooting fishing boats out of the goddamn water under Harris. Period. Wouldn't have happened. So I don't say both sides do it, because it's horseshit. There's overlap. There's horseshoe theory in the extremes, but insofar as the political parties, my fucking conscience is goddamn clean. And this isn't about perfection. This is about large swaths of difference in policy. And if anybody wants to come here and tell me, or any other Democrat, that Al Gore would have handled 9/11 differently, or the same as Bush did, they're out of their fucking mind. First of all, it may not have even happened because he wouldn't have fucking not read his presidential daily brief and been reading, My Pet Goat upside down on the day that it fucking happened while Dick Cheney was back in Washington running shit. And his reaction sure as shit would not have been to attack Iraq. It's silly. It's an absurdity. The idea that Al Gore would have gone, hey, Afghanistan might have been a thing. That might have actually happened. We might have bombed those camps. We might have even gone into Afghanistan at the absolute outset. But the idea that Al Gore would have gone, while we're at it, right? The idea that Harris would put somebody like Kristi Noem in charge of ICE and all that shit, or Tom Homan. It's just a lie. It's insane. And the only people that bring it up, if you ever hear anybody both sides this, it's because they voted for this shit. And now they're backing away from it. The biggest both-sider crowd in the world is this overlap of Dem-leaning and Republican-leaning independents, or, bullshit artists like Cenk Uygur, who once they get into the booth, vote Republican, but then on the outside sell this nonsense about that they're a Democrat, or that they are a liberal or a progressive, or whatever the fucking label that they're selling, #faux-gressive. That's them dealing with the guilt. That's what that is. Ugh. George just went to clear brush. Can somebody else read that? Right. Can I throw it? Let's see. Shit, I'm way over, but let's go here. I just want one little slice of this because this is hilarious. Tulsi goes silent. Here's why Tulsi Gabbard flip-flop on regime change in Venezuela. Flip-flopped? Past tense? Or is flip-flopping? Currently flip-flopped?
President Trump was elected by the American people to put an end to this. And from day one, he has showed a very different way to conduct foreign policy.
Yes, with total disregard for norms and laws, our Constitution, the rules of seafaring travel.
Oh, has he? Oh, has he now?
Oh, they're filling in for Jimmy?
Oh, you might remember a spunky young congresswoman who was very anti-interventionist. Her name was Tulsi Gabbard. Do you remember her?
Oh, yeah. She serves.
Remember Tulsi Gabbard before she had the Cruella de Vil streak? Young Tulsi Gabbard, all plucky, full of beans, talking that anti.
Yeah, she was a bullshit artist. She was a bullshit artist then. She's a bullshit artist now.
Imperialist, mumbo jumbo.
Yeah.
So here she is. Was this back in 2019? 2019. Still a darling of the Bernie Sanders movement at that time.
The United States has a disastrous history of military intervention and regime change around the world, which has brought suffering to millions of people. It's bankrupted our country, dishonored our troops, and it's undermined our national security. We must end this policy now before we get into yet another military conflict. This time.
By the way, she wasn't saying this to support Bernie. She was saying this as an attack on Hillary Clinton. Because the idea was that she was going to be the regime change candidate and Donald Trump was going to be the peace candidate. And so she was with Bernie as a spoiler against Hillary, not because she gives a fuck. I mean, obviously, she's the DNI under Trump. She does not now, nor did she ever give a rat fuck about any of Bernie Sanders' priorities.
In Venezuela. Now, President Trump and his administration have already instituted heavy sanctions on Venezuela. They've doubled down on their position that all options are on the table. I wholeheartedly support the Venezuelan people as they fight for a free and fair democracy. But the United States should not be in the business of intervening, of picking who should lead their country, and we certainly should not be threatening military action. Venezuela poses no threat to the United States. Congress has not authorized the United States to go to war in Venezuela, and there's no justification for our country to violate the sovereignty of the Venezuelan people. Now, the reality is that
yeah, then she would go to work for a guy who doesn't actually need reasons.
Threats of U.S. military action and regime change in Venezuela is undermining ongoing efforts to convince North Korea to give up their nuclear weapons program which exists because
Funny
Kim
how that
Jong-un
works.
sees it as the only deterrent against U.S.-led regime change.
What gave him that
Now,
idea?
President
What, he
Trump
doesn't
is
want to be
promising North
sodomized
Korea,
with a
"We will
knife?
not wage regime change war against them."
That's an odd mental image that you just kind of dreamt up there. Is that how we normally handle this?
We want to go out
But at
like
the same
Gaddafi?
time is simultaneously threatening regime change in Venezuela. North Korea is going to look at President Trump's actions, not at empty promises. The United States.
Meanwhile, did they play another clip from it? There you go. There she is, another thing she stated. Gabbard fires officials who released memo contradicting Trump's Venezuela gang claims. This is May of this year. And, yes, we've seen this. Has fired the two highest-ranking officials of the National Intelligence Agency just weeks after the council released an assessment that contradicted Trump's justification for using the Alien Enemies Act to deport alleged Venezuelan gang members without due process. Mike Collins serving as an acting... Okay, we know this. Unrelated to this part of it. He goes, folks, this was Tulsi Gabbard 2 months ago. Trump will never commit a regime change or intervene in foreign politics. Yeah, you guys haven't learned this yet? I mean, both sides.
He's not an interventionist.
Washington way of thinking is something we hope is in the rearview mirror and something that has held us back for too long. For decades, our foreign policy has been trapped in a counterproductive and endless cycle of regime change or nation building. It was
I guess the morality and the legality of it and the ethics of it don't really matter.
a one-size-fits-all approach of toppling regimes, trying to impose our system of governance on others, intervene in conflicts that were barely understood, and walk away with more enemies than allies. The results? Trillions spent, countless lives lost, and in many
And a gray streak that may never be healed.
cases a creation of greater security threats, the rise of Islamist terrorist groups like ISIS. President Trump was elected by the American people to put an end to this.
Yeah, and then, hold on, then they talk about that. I'm just jumping ahead of this because I want to get to the point where they're suddenly reacting to, they're going to talk about the cult she belonged to and the YGL voices representing Hawaii amongst leaders from around the world, or whatever. This is she worked for the WEF, what she did in the Army. So they're basically, she's a mole. It's not Trump's fault.
Going Monroe Doctrine online, they're making a goddamn egregore. And so you argue with a thing that's a fucking some thought form they made that most people don't even fucking know what the Monroe Doctrine is, by the way, if you bring it up to them.
Oh, of course I don't. Of course I don't. But you just repeat it enough and people say, I mean, that's what Johnston was saying. But yeah, look, Tulsi, she's a very attractive figure, you know.
Good go. All right. I don't need these guys fucking thirst trapping over. Yeah, she's a liar and a con artist. She's a bullshitter. And more importantly, she's a Russian asshat. But what even more important, there are UFOs. Here's Anna Luna is the thing. Why we need more UFO disclosure. I agree.
When you hear this out of the blue without...
By the way, hit the like, share the show. It's Hal Sparks Megaworldwiide. I know I said I was going to, stop at this point, but I mean, it's UFOs. UAPs, which sounds lame. UFO is so much cooler.
Having sat through the hearing or watched the latest documentary, you think, is everybody nuts? Like, are they all in on it? Is it like... But I've heard you talk about this so many times, matter-of-factly on Joe Rogan.
Sorry, are we talking about UFOs or are we talking about Candace Owens and the Charlie Kirk shit again?
Rogan and in the halls of Congress. I believe you, and I believe you believe it. And having watched this documentary...
And I believe I will have another drink.
Now, I believe it too. Boy, if it's a lie, they got a lot of storied scientists to spew a bunch of nonsense at risk to their own careers and reputations about it. You've run the hearings. You've talked to countless guys who have been investigating this for years. What's your conclusion?
Look, we, especially from a national security perspective, want to know why it is that if these things or if whatever this is real, why is it, first of all, that members of Congress who serve as the oversight authority for the civilian arm, really the American people, are being
Yes. Why aren't the Greys giving us a briefing?
denied access to the videos and photos of what we displayed in that hearing?
Because you're not on a military committee? Why don't you go talk to the ones who are actually on national security committees, because they can look at it.
Again, Representative Burleson
I believe I can fly.
had that video dead dropped to him. It was scrubbed with any, I guess, data that could point to who gave the information to him. But that is a confirmed real video. And as you are seeing, that is a type of footage that, unless it is basically leaked to us, we're being denied access to, specifically out of the Department of War. Now, this goes.
So Pete Hegseth is withholding stuff from members of Congress on purpose that they know exists, and they know they have the right to see. That's weird. It's fucking. Both sides
Way
do it.
back to last Congress, actually, when myself, Representative Gates, and Representative Burchett had actually done a field hearing following up on two whistleblowers, or a few whistleblowers that had come forward to Representative Gates' office that were pilots at Eglin Air Force Base, alleging that the U.S. government was covering this up. Of course, when you hear something like that, you're like, all right, you've seen this in sci-fi films or heard rumors about this, but never have
I've heard rumors about sci-fi films.
dealt with it directly. And then basically in a nutshell, Representative Gates, Burchett, and I went out to Eglin. And of course, they tried to cancel the meeting. We got the meeting back on. And then once we were there, we were actually denied access. We got into a massive fight with the base commander. We went in and out of the skiff.
Access to what?
And then ultimately,
their skiff?
Without saying too much, part of how we got some of the information that we did is I actually had asked one of the witnesses to draw for me the photograph or the
the power of doodles.
Image of this thing that was essentially being denied.
Yes, she means Matt Gaetz.
To us. So they're denying us the actual imagery, but the military officer was able to actually draw it for me, of which I'm sure they didn't think that we were going to ask them to do that, but we did. And again, even dating back to my own military experience, there was one point when I was stationed at Portland Air National Guard prior to.
That explains it. She's from Portland. I mean, it makes a lot of sense.
Goodbye, Portland, you twisted man. Where's the
harbor? Where's the gap?
Goodbye, Portland, you make no sense. Renaissance players on a latte fence.
And at that point in time, there was an airspace incursion that had taken place that some of the pilots had been talking about. One specifically, I said, what is this thing specifically? Are you able to describe it? He couldn't. He got kind of spooked talking about it. And that's in my opinion, he definitely ran into a UAP or saw a UAP or they're chasing one.
Or a sketch of one.
But that is not the first time that we've had pilots in fear of losing their flight status for coming forward with this information. So I kind of started.
Yeah, they disobey orders in general, no matter who gives them, whatever. Withholding information that you're not legally responsible for maintaining that information or telling anybody. If you've been told not to say it, it goes through the chain, not through you. And so this could be a test for all they know. Like they're testing to see if you could break. They might feed you something. You could have been shown a mirage on purpose so they can see if they're ready to move you up to B2.
As a skeptic, but after leading into the investigations, after seeing some of the footage like you saw in that hearing, after talking to a number of people, not people that are driving Winnebagos wearing tinfoil.
Excuse me? I feel seen.
But legitimate, credible people.
In Winnebagos wearing tinfoil.
Definitely seems real.
I mean, I see Air Force
Also, when did Megyn Kelly start fucking Archie?
Pilots, you're talking about over and over encountering these things that come out of nowhere that can do things no aircraft could.
Well, I got to close my drapes.
I believe them. They have absolutely no reason to lie about it, and they have every reason to not lie, to not say that they saw that when they did. So you can see their reluctance in even talking about it. They don't want to be seen as a kook, but they saw what they saw. In the documentary, The Age of Disclosure, they do have former, it's called ATIP, and it's a group that's been investigating all of this for some time, officials.
It's just ATIP, though.
Talking about a breakthrough theory and how they think these UAPs operate, and it would...
I think they run on kerosene.
Explain some of the experiences people have had.
Hal, didn't you say you saw a UFO? Yes, indeed, I did.
Had with them. Take a listen here to SOP 46.
This one breakthrough can be the key to interstellar travel, where you want to travel long distances.
Uh-oh. There's my name again. It's weird when it shows up. It's very rare. We're very smart people, so it's not surprising that another Hal is a quantum physicist.
Without taking enormous amounts of subjective time. We'd also have low observability because the bubble...
Yes, that's what it said underneath it. You can read. Congratulations, Megan Kelly. You're really making progress.
...acts as a barrier between two space-time environments. This would eliminate or conceal most of the known signatures of conventional technologies. This is why radar would have difficulty tracking a craft, because the signal from the radar would be distorted by the energy field around the craft.
The radar signatures literally just move around the bubble and doesn't reflect back to the radar emitter.
So it's not surprising.
It's just like farting in a tub.
Someone takes a photo of a UAP, they find they get a fuzzy and distorted picture because they're actually taking a photo through a space-time barrier.
So they'll never be in focus. Son of a bitch.
Do you know any of these guys, Representative? Because these quantum physicists that were all throughout this movie were very impressive, and they've been seriously and soberly trying to study this for some time.
Yeah, I believe I actually had gone into the skiff with one of them, and there
You believe?
are a number of other people
Sorry, are you... How big is this goddamn skiff?
who I think would...
Did you take a tour bus?
Back up these theories on it, not to mention when you're talking about a barrier or maybe something surrounding these things, there have been instances and reports from firsthand witnesses that these things do have a bubble, if you will call it that. But what's even...
I will. Let's just call it a bubble.
And kind of crazier to see, Megan, is that, if this wasn't real, then why would the U.S. government or elements within the U.S. government be working so hard to make it difficult for us to say, okay, is this real? Is this not real? Can we see that?
Oh, because they have a worry that these might not be alien craft, but military aircraft created by China or Russia or the Germans in World War II, or using technology that we don't quite have yet. And they don't want the world knowing that we can't see it and the limits of what we have, because that would let the enemy, if it was the enemy, know what they could get away with in said aircraft. Just spitballing, but then, hey, I just have the name and the intellectual capacity of a quantum physicist, so...
Evidence. The fact is that the pushback that we've received has been so incredibly obvious at this point that it just kind of furthers our own opinions on there are people that are controlling this information. And there does seem to be, even outside of the purview of, I think, sometimes our own secretaries who have the best intentions on declassifying this stuff, there is this internal intelligence battle on this topic. And so, you're talking earlier about whistleblower protections. One of the things that we're going to have to do, because what I did not want to do is host just another hearing with more...
All right, how do you make UFOs boring?
Witness testimony without providing the documents and evidence. I think that would probably be a waste of resources unless we can provide that directly to the American people. And we have received a list, I think it's over about 40 different documents to actually be able to get that information, to provide it, but also to bring forward legislation out of oversight. And actually just left a hearing earlier talking to the chairman about it, to actually bring forward immunity for all of the people, some of them in the film, some personally that we know of, to come talk with us in a skiff about locations or specifically more information pertaining to this without...
They're in a movie. Why do you have to put them in a skiff to talk about this shit? Just have them come testify. They did a movie. I guarantee there's edited footage.
Being in fear of basically being hit with espionage.
A new year.
Hit with espionage. That's you wouldn't be hit with espionage unless you knew this was foreign technology, shithead. Oy. Oh God. I apologize. I don't know how you can make aliens and shit boring. I don't know how. I saw a UFO when I was a kid, but I grew up in Kentucky, so that was expected. My butt still hurts. No. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you about it tomorrow after I return from CES and I'm surrounded by robots. It was very cool today, and I got some cool pictures, but there are areas I didn't get to explore yet, so I want to dive in there. And let's see, I want to show. Let's see, is there something? Yeah, that's just dumb. There's so much. There's a bunch of like crappage. Let me show you. Okay, this is the. I'll show you the thing that I didn't see. I'm just saying I did not. I looked, but I couldn't find this one. Maybe I walked right by the booth. I can't imagine that I would or did. But I would have heard it, right? If I was walking by the booth, I would. You would have noticed, yes. Thank you very much, CSL. That works perfectly. I'm gonna cut a little sound off of it. Is this wrong? There you go. Something like that. I'll work on it. Anyways, much love to you. I will see you guys tomorrow. Take care of yourselves and take care of somebody else. I will be live streaming from CES tomorrow at one point. And then the show's on at 4 in the afternoon tomorrow instead of 3 my time. So an hour, it starts an hour later, which gives me a little bit of time to, check out the floor a little bit more, which is really good. Yeah, exactly. So take care of yourselves, and I will see you guys tomorrow. I insist. I need to turn on my music, I think.
Goodbye, Portland.
All right.
You twisted now. Where's the harbor? Where's the gap? Goodbye, Portland. You make no sense. Renaissance mayors on a latte fence.
By the way, this goes out to all the people at CES.
That is a design.
The fridge hums low, the lights flicker bright. Microwave's got a mind tonight.
I know that you and Frank were planning to do.
The thermostat whispers in the dark. Charging port spark like a steel heart. The toaster's on, the kettle screams, the coffee maker's brewing schemes.
Welcome to the real world.
Maximum overdrive. They've come alive. Wires twist, machines won't thrive. Circuit snap, we won't survive. It's the rise of the high maximum overdrive. Vacuum's got vengeance in its roar.